Oh, we have Jerome coming in.
Congratulations to our
It's
newest
happening.
YCS winner, who also happens to be
Okay,
the
here
final
we go.
YCS winner of the current advanced format. The new advanced format starts on April 7th, and I have the next Forbidden Unlimited's cards list.
Oh my gosh.
That is today.
I've been
That is
talking all
effective
weekend
immediately.
about the new Forbidden Unlimited's card list, and there's a lot
Like
to go
that?
over, so lock in. First,
He's not in the
following
venue.
cards are now unlimited. Cyberjar, Danger
Unlimited.
Jackalope, and Danger Tsuchinoko.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Performapal Monkey Board.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
those
really
were
tame.
all pretty easy. Those
Next,
were all pretty
the
easy
following cards
guesses.
are now semi-limited. There's a number of them moving in both directions, so let's
Oh my
start
God.
with the cards moving from limited. They are Black Dragon Collapse Serpent and White Dragon Wyverburster. Morphing Jar,
Ooh, what?
Unchained Soul of Shrivara,
White
Snake Eye
Dragon.
Ash, and Snake Eye Poplar.
Oh,
The rest of the
what?
semi-limited cards
Snake Eye Ash and
previously
Poplar?
unlimited. And
Wait
they
a minute.
are X Ryzeal, Ice Ryzeal,
Oh my
That's
gosh.
right.
Sword
Ryzeal.
Ryzeal,
Oh!
Malice P Dormouse,
Oh my
Malice
god!
P White Rabbit,
Oh my
and
gosh.
Malice in Underground.
There's
Holy.
no way.
That is the most
No
semi-limits
way.
I've ever
What is
seen.
that?
Next up,
What
limited
is
cards.
that?
3 cards have
That
been
is
moved
wild.
from
Wait.
forbidden to limited.
Ash and Poplar. Okay. Heavy Storm, maybe?
The returning cards are Mathmech Circular, Brilliant Fusion,
Oh,
and Masterpiece, the true
There we
Joker
go.
Slaying King. The rest of the newly limited
Wait,
cards
Circular
were
is
previously
unbanned? What the
unlimited.
hell is going
And
on?
they are
yeah, that's crazy.
Dude,
Bestial
there's
Druid
probably gonna
Swarm,
be like Moon
Ryzeal
and Requiem.
Detonator, Bonfire,
Is that banned?
Crossout
To
Detonator,
one, to one.
Oh,
Cross
to
out.
one.
Talents.
and
Oh, yes!
Dimension Shifter.
Oh! Yo! That's like the best.
Oh, that's
That's-
insane.
Finally, there
That's
are 4
crazy.
newly forbidden cards. in the
Oh
next
my
advanced
God.
format.
That's the best
And they
ban
are-
list.
Dude, Fiendsmith is gonna die.
Yeah. It has to.
Dude,
Nightmare Griffin,
what is this list?
Link Decoder,
Oh,
Okay.
there it is.
Abyss Dweller,
Oh,
But-
no.
okay, it's gone.
Bahamut Shark,
Moon, please.
Wait, what?
No
Okay.
Fiendsmith hits.
You'll be able to find the complete list
Dude,
of
they killed
changes
Malice.
on our social media soon.
Did they kill
with the
Malice, you
complete
think?
list
Is that
updated
actually
on
No,
the
I don't know.
website tomorrow.
Oh my god, they actually banned Link
Best of
Decoder.
luck,
I'm so
everyone
mad
preparing
right
for the
now.
Next few months of competition.
Detonator's
gosh.
limited bonfire? Dude, I need to see like a picture of that. That was wild.
There were so many hits on that list. That's actually kind of crazy. Like, that's after
Why
the
did
time.
Snake Eye Ash and Poplar come back to 2? That's nuts. And Mathmech Circular?
Oh yeah, the circular
They want us
unbanned.
to play-
Yeah.
They want us to play Mathmech
Malice
or something.
Chat,
What
you've been
is
so
that?
funny and sweet
Dude,
and
no
kind.
Fiendsmith
The
hits
crowd has been
at all.
absolutely electric. I want to
That
thank all
is
the on-camera
extra.
talent.
We're gonna have to
They've
talk
just
about that, but
welcomed
like,
me
yeah,
in.
no
They're like a
Fiendsmith hits
family
is
to
something
me,
where I'm
and
just
everyone
like,
behind the scenes
are we just?
working
Is every
so,
deck gonna run
so
Fiendsmith
hard,
now?
but
That's
a big
crazy.
Thank you to all of you.
Yeah, no, that's an
This
insane
is a
list. I need to see
shocking ban
a
list.
full list for that.
Yeah.
But immediate
Talents,
reactions.
finally.
Yeah,
Finally,
talents and cross
talents.
out. Oh my gosh.
Shifter is limited. Holy crap. What is that?
Okay, the shifter limit might be like my favorite hit on the list by far. Like I don't
I
know.
think.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Listen, I might be coming off a little bit biased here. Did they like unproportionately hit Malice? Like
I-
much more than they did Ryzeal?
Yeah, I was gonna say
There
because
8 Malice cards or something on this list. 2 bans. Including 2 bans.
you have White Rabbit and Dormouse to 2, and then Malice to
Field
Underground
Spell to 2.
semi-limit. That's crazy.
You
It-
only have 1 Baldrake. You don't have the Link Decoder anymore, which is something that people predicted. It makes sense. Griffin is gone. I mean, Bonfire is at 1 and Detonator is 1, I guess. This is so weird. And Shifter is at 1, which is incredible. Shifter 1 is great. Amazing for everybody. Branded, no branded unhits.
Yeah, no branded unhits. That is something that we'll have to discuss. I mean, I think Shifter, all the things that happen around it will help branded, because like Shifter to 1, I think really helps basically most decks just like kind of flourish.
Yeah, and Dweller also is good.
Yeah, and Dweller gone, like that's kind of, branded might be actually positioned super well into the format. It just depends on how it shapes out until Alliance Insight. I mean, we still have a month though, but like until then, like, yeah, like ryzeal and maliss are looking kind of hit. But like also, do you think offhand like the ryzeal hits are even going to matter? Because I'm looking at this Ice ryzeal and X ryzeal to 2. Those hits to me don't really matter when Bonfire, we have like the Ascensions and 7th Tachyon, so like that to me as like someone who's played ryzeal doesn't seem like it matters. I think the more interesting hit was the Arise Heart like hit where I think Detonator just went to 1. Yeah, Detonator went to 1. That's something I wasn't expecting. Someone came into my chat the other day and they were like, Detonator is going to go to 1. I was like, I don't know about that, but like I guess it makes like Metal Tronus like insane against that deck now. Like it's just like a one shot. I don't know. Like what does that say to you?
Circular?
Oh, it's a circular.
I'm looking at circular. I'm looking at the picture. I mean, Talent is incredible. I love Talent and Crossout, but I mean, Detonator to 1 obviously is good. It prevents the deck from playing around Nib a little bit because you can't attach the Detonator from grave anymore. It obviously dies to removal, like really, like it's gonna die to Melotronus. But Link Decoder, man.
I didn't play with Circular in the game too much outside of like Master Duel here and there. Do you think that actually does anything with it to 1? Because like when the last time Circular was alive, it was kind of that deck that would always go X3 at regionals, I feel like, and not really do too much outside of that. So like, I don't know if it ever like warranted it.
Circular to 1 is kind of scary, I think. I think it's a really scary card. But yeah, I don't know. It was limited for a while, and it still did okay. I'm really confused by Circular to 1, to be honest. I don't like. There's so many other unbans. Like, what are you trying to balance? Realistically, I don't know. And Sharvar to 2 is just annoying to me. I'm so mad.
Oh, I didn't even see that. I'm a Sharvara hater too. I think that. Like, I remember when Unchained was the best deck.
I hate you, Bill, so much. Unchained was actually fun, but X'd Ice Sword all at 2. This is such a different approach to a list, right? Druid's Worm recalled it, but dude, this is a wild list. I think my favorite out of all of this, I think the Link Decoder ban is sort of like when they hit Ronin Totem, and it was like, bro, come on. Like, that's so annoying. Requiem is legal, but Link Decoder is not? What? Tract is gonna go up to like $60 now.
Yeah.
I think Malice is still fine, to be honest. I think it's still fine.
I was gonna say, with the post-Alliance Insight stuff, I feel like with them just giving you consistency hits, it doesn't, especially since they're all semi-limits, it doesn't really necessarily hurt your grind game, and like you'll just have like whatever you want to run, but whether it's like the spell card, that the Rhoda sign up mining, or just like the new Adignester cards, which are just consistency. They just search Malice cards, so I think it'll be fine overall.
So crazy.
This is the craziest list I've seen.
I don't know. Wild. I'm just gonna upload my reaction to YouTube because this is just insane.
Yes.
This is a lot to take in.
Lots of cooking to be done on all fronts, to be honest.
I guess so, overall, but like Alliance, I mean, like if you had locals tomorrow, what would you play? Like, what do you think is a good pick?
With the new list, since it's legal, I guess today, I would say probably, I mean, I'd say branded, but it would really just be to I mean, that would be my classic pick. But I think there's actually like a lot of fun decks or a lot of different decks that might be able to shine now because Dweller and Shifter are at one. Like I like Lightsworn is one of my like favorite pet decks, and
Yeah,
like
let's
with
go
the Fiend
tier
Smith.
Lightsworn.
Yeah, like oh my gosh, the tier limit is going to be eating good with this list with Shifter and Dweller gone.
Dude, listen. Dweller and Shifter gone. Fiendsmith is full power. Fiendsmith tier? Horus? Stuff?
Ooh, with the
Dude,
Millenniums?
bring us
Yes.
Grasted too.
Yeah.
With the Millenniums?
Ooh.
Yeah. It's insane. It's gonna be insane. Okay, I'm gonna go edit some stuff.
Yeah,
it
thank you
was
so much.
Nice hanging out. Shout out chat. Love you guys. We'll talk soon.
Bye, Galzo. Have a good one.
Bye bye.
All right, everyone, check out Galzo. I'm gonna link his channel down below. Branded Goat. Thanks again. It's great to appreciate him reacting, even though my audio was not working the whole time. So please, everyone, subscribe to Galzo if you are not already. I'm going to link it down in the chat, but we're going to keep talking about the ban list, obviously. And here, I'll pin that right there. And yeah, so I do want to run down the cards for, I guess, our reaction here, and we will go from there. So yeah, this is, in my opinion, another one of those lists. We didn't even talk about talents and crossout. This is another one of those lists where Konami is going for the throat on these. And shout to Jerome. Jerome is the coolest guy they got at Konami by far. Like Jerome he's a gift, honestly. Like I see why people talk about him like he's like the gifted child. Like this was one of the coolest things I've ever seen, frankly. For like a card game. So there's so much to talk about, I guess, and so we can talk about the Forbiddens first. I want to talk to chat now that we have a little bit more, so please let me know down in the chat. I know I missed a lot of chats and we got like 350 people here. How's everyone doing? So yeah, what do you guys think? Yeah, Shifter to 1 is definitely my favorite hit, but we'll go down the list. So Nightmare Griffin ban, that is for Nightmare Griffin has been like a problem card since Tier Limit and even probably before that. You know, whether it's just floodgating your opponent or looping trap cards that shouldn't be looped, like viruses. And I do think that Nightmare Griffin is, you know, warranted a ban. I don't think it was ever something that really, like, we see Jeff Jones, like, I've listened to Jeff Jones, like, talk about his last 3 Malice tops, and he said that he made Griffin once in like top 16 or something at YCS Vegas. So like he's doing Crypt or Pass on most boards. So like, which, because it also works under Shifter. So like Griffin isn't going to affect really what Malice ends up doing, because their best end board is still just like Malice or Cryptor Control. And then you have the Link Decoder. Link Decoder is definitely the biggest Malice hit on this list. I think that Link Decoder really helped Malice play through hand traps and insulate itself, because Link Decoder made it so that Imperm and Veiler just did not do a whole lot to the deck. So it is one of those things that it is going to actually make it so Malice is hand trappable. And Galzo did mention this. There are a lot of other tops as well. Very important insight on the list. Oh gosh, GZ1K. I'm gonna have to check this out once we're done running it down. Yeah, so Link Decoder makes it so that Malice is a lot more hand trappable. I'm surprised Malice got hit because they haven't won a YCS yet. So like, it's a little crazy seeing all the Malice hits, but like, I do think that it's in anticipation for the Alliance Insight stuff, and that's very smart. It shows the Konami R&D TCG department really knows, they have a finger on the pulse of what's going on, you know. Also, thanks for the follows. I do appreciate everybody. I just have a lot I want to get to the ban list, so I do appreciate everybody supporting and everything. So Link Decoder going means that Malice is a lot more fair in terms of Nightmare Griffin as well. Like, they just aren't inherently doing
So Sky Striker, Memento, Thainsmith best decks.
I would say Sky Striker is about to be a tier 1 deck once the new support comes out. Memento is also looking to be a tier 2 to 1 deck for sure. Fiendsmith is also is completely unhit. So yes, any Fiendsmith variant. Also, Primite's not hit. Also, guys, Druid Swarm only went to 1, so the Bestial engine is completely still playable, right? You just still run Baldrakes and Magnamut. You're still doing your thing. So yeah, no, and now Abyss Dweller. So Abyss Dweller really does end up hitting the Abyss Dweller ban is going to make it so decks, and also thank you for the $2, Timothy. I do appreciate it. Appreciate the support. So yeah, Abyss Dweller is going to really help a lot of these graveyard decks be able to flourish, you know, whether it's Crystron, you know, Mitsurugi, things like Branded is also going to really appreciate things like Dweller and the you know, Dweller and Shifter, you know, going to the wayside. You know, effectively a Shifter semi or limit is I love like I genuinely like it has I don't know. I'm so proud of the TCG because this list was like such a good, like a long time coming, and they answered a lot of things. Like they really did. They covered so much. Makes me so happy. So the Bahamut Shark ban also, it was either this or Toad. So this was because, right, like all the ryzeal variants, Pure ryzeal was running this with the 7th Ascension, allowing you to search out the shark cards. So Bahamut or Toad needed to go because you also had Mermail winning YCS after YCS. And this is a deck that can hand rip and also set barrier statue, so you need to effectively hit their deck, and what's on every one of their end boards is 2 Toads. It's their grind game, so it's Gang Rip Bahamut also means that they can't just like convert their bodies and like trigger Dragoons, right? So like hitting the Bahamut Shark is even a bigger hit, in my opinion, to Mermail than the Toad hit, because they would run Bahamut Shark, I think, even without Toad, in my opinion, just to still detach the Dragoons on those hands. So maybe I'm wrong on that. But so that being hit is definitely going to end up hitting Mermail, but as we see from the other hits, I think that Mermail is going to be perfectly fine. Also, Abyss Dweller being one of the most popular endboard pieces on ryzeal means that the ryzeal endboards are going to change up, right? So like a lot of these decks that are graveyard based are just not going to have as good of a time into ryzeal's not going to have as good of a time into them. So definitely one of those things that is going to help them out end up playing the game. And then yes, so now I'm going to also go into the limits now, but I honestly overall I couldn't see any other bans. I was like, maybe Twins of the Eclipse would be banned, but it was not banned. So also we have some people, or what's up, TJ? How's it going?
Good ban list, good.
You did you like the ban list? What did you think of the Forbiddens? Because we're right now on the Forbiddens.
We already knew all of this was going to happen. Next question.
Okay, let's go into the semi-limits. So Zelda Duelist, are you cool with the Forbiddens that happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I personally would have preferred to see Mulan over Baja, but I think Baja kills it, so screw it. I'll take either.
And the hits to Malice is an interesting one because it makes Malice go through newer lines now with Dakota gone and Circular back. It's going to be a more interesting list.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we'll get into the semis because I think the semis is, or sorry, not the semis. The limits are the most interesting part of this list by far. So I kind of want to go from the bottom because obviously Shifter is like probably the biggest name here, but I think Triple Tactics, Talons, and Crossout Designator, this is what I'm talking about, where Konami's going for the throat on like actually structurally like fixing the TCG, like the OCG's issue, like card design issues, where they're just like limiting these cards that just create non-games and Crossout Designator and Triple Tactics Talents. They're going to 1, so they're going to be a bit sacky, but at the end of the day, they were cards that just like, you know, punish interactivity, in my opinion. People are like, oh, it's interactivity, you know, stopping your interruption for my play. And it's like, I just think when you're not able to play the game, I think Triple Tactics Talents had like Crossout and Talents have their own issues, where Talents had hand rip, and that was the main issue with Talents. So that's why I had to go. We saw like Lotus go for similar reasons. We saw Shoot be an issue across, you know, every fucking Time Wizard format, excuse my language. And then also Crossout Designator has its own issues where in mirror matches it just really invalidates things. But TJ, I know you probably As someone who's played cross out, I think at like high level tournaments, like what would you say? How does this, how does the semi limit of talents at cross out like sit with you? Like, what does that?
So I definitely think crossout is one of the ones that was definitely, it's had its time due. Talons has floated in and out of formats and become more relevant as, we've gotten into more of these, formats where people are just jamming 15, 20 hand traps in. The thing with crossout going to one is especially relevant though, because people are going to be disincentivized from just playing like one of cards to rip off of, crossout or whatever. We've seen in recent YCSs, some of the ryzeal lists are sitting there playing, one ofs or two ofs just to hit off of crossout, in addition to the fact that it just hits in the mirror. Whereas Talon's floating in and out of formats, I think it's one of those cards that wasn't going to float out anytime soon, and just the ability to rip one from hand is usually relevant if your opponent has opened a hand trap that was not specifically imperm. Now it's definitely, I think you're going to see a lot more lists going to like one called by, one cross out, one talons, and I think that would be fine, but I definitely think the better utility on talons, aside from just the hand rip, was how good it was going second and being able to, just take a card off your opponent's board. It forces out basically an interaction on its own, if not multiple.
It was just kind of like a card you could throw at anything. It was good in most situations outside of imperm pass kind of hands. And then like cross out, cross out I just think like ends up just, I think that's a great hit to me. I think the fact we have one cross out, one talents, and one called by means like your hand traps are going to be resolving a lot more now. I think mirror matches are going to get a lot better too in general, which I think the ryzeal detonator limit also is going to make the ryzeal mirror match a lot more tolerable, but we'll talk about that. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, actually, no, it might not make it more tolerable because it's the same thing with the ryzeal. What do you guys think of the detonator limit? Because this to me kind of came out of nowhere. It's like the TCG has this philosophy with like a boss monster being one of, but as they did with the Rise Heart. But what do you guys think?
I think it's very like reminiscent of the Rise Heart. Like they went limited first, then went banned. At one, it's not gonna completely like ruin the game, not by a long shot. Especially the fact that you can recycle it with Cross as well, so it's not gonna be ruining Ryzeal anytime soon. It makes the matchup more interesting for the sense of it makes defending what you have more like on your board more vulnerable sort of thing,
I think that it has the potential to see the uptick in people actually playing plugin. We did see quite a bit of it at Houston, but prior there has been, this floating idea of do you play it, do you not, do you play plasma hold, do you not? And I think with detonator going to one, it is very important to have more ways to recycle it, because if you lose your cross off of something like an SP, or now at this point they could SP away the detonator, if you have a way to do that without it just popping itself. I think those are very relevant things that you have to consider with detonator at one, because you can't just slap a second one on the board. You either have to recycle it with cross and put it back, or if it gets banished permanently with something like an SP, I think you have something a little harder where you're going to need to play that plugin instead of just relying on your cross.
Yeah, and I think it's like a super interesting take on, because they could have went the way of just X ryzeal to one, but instead of like ruining like the creativity with like the Mitsurugi build or something like, or like the other builds, they're kind of like seeing the boundaries they can push with like putting detonator to one on top of the semi limits, and then also these other structural things such as talents and crossout and dweller being put down for the count. But I personally welcome. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go on.
I think it's certainly important, with plugin now, because now, like I said, if your detonator gets banished, you need a way to bring it back, and that is what plugin will serve to do. So, it's not the end all be all, but it definitely makes you, think about those deck building choices that maybe you might have, just thrown out the window before. And, so I think forcing the hand in having to play cards like that is super important. Any time that there requires deck building changes really makes you, have to be more conscious of your resources, especially. So
Yeah, so I'm gonna start a poll, guys. Do you guys like the ban list or not? Let me know. But while I'm doing that, also I wanted to we could talk about circular before we really get into shifter and Druid Swarm, because those are more like structural things, I guess, in bonfire. But Mathmech circular, I didn't play too much in the format with circular, but what do you guys think of circular coming back? Is this actually relevant or not?
I have been waiting for this for so long, and it's not going to be the most relevant in the world. I'll be honest. Circular was a card that I don't at the time. I don't think it should have been banned. Mathmech, it was put to one, and then Mathmech did like fuck all. Excuse my language there, and it was just fumbling. I think it's going to see play in Malice, especially with the hitting of Lake Dakota. I think it can definitely see a home in Malice, but other than that, I think it might just be that niche extended now.
I think personally, I can somewhat agree with that. With the hitting of Dormouse and White Rabbit to 2, and as well as Link Decoder getting banned, it does to some extent incentivize them to play Signet Mining, especially because, with Druid Swarm going to 1, they're either forced to play some of the other Bestials in higher quantities, or come this upcoming set, we are getting the Attic Nister cards and the new Malice cards, so it could be a reason to incentivize you to play mining, and then you could play like the circular if you really felt that you needed that extra bit. I'm not sure that they would necessarily do it, but it is certainly a thing that they could attempt to do.
Yeah, so like I'm not sure if we're gonna see like pure math mech builds spring out of nowhere when Malice is just like way better math mech. So like, yeah, I think it's probably just like fine at the end of the day. And what's up, Glenwad? W list no Fiendsmith hits is goaded. Jerome on some good. Yeah, so there were no Fiendsmith hits. That kind of we'll just jump the shark on that one. So there are no Fiendsmith hits on this list, and with Dweller and Shifter Band, which are cards that are really good against Fiendsmith, is it just Fiendsmith ryzeal the best deck again? Like
I think no. So the reason I think no is because you have to remember the only way they have to get into Fiendsmith combo, aside from just opening the Fiendsmith cards inherently through Engine, they now only have 3 copies between Bonfire at 1 and Ice at 2, whereas before they had 6 in addition to the Fiendsmith line. So I still think that you're probably going to see a lot of Pure, because I think Pure gets a lot stronger off of that concept, because now you're basically forced to have to play 7th Ascension and 7th Tachyon.
Yeah, and especially I think until Alliance Insight comes out, it'll be another contention there. But post Alliance Insight, I think Malice is going to shoot back up to being the best deck of the format.
that's the thing. I think a lot of these like Malice hits were kind of in anticipation of the new support, but we haven't even gotten to the semi-limits yet. I mean, if we're talking about Malice support, we can get into the biggest hit of the list, I think outside of the bans, because like if in a vacuum, if we didn't know that these bans were kind of just like in the pipeline because of the OCG and everyone just clamoring for these things to be banned, those would be surprising. But outside of that, I think the most surprising hit is the Shifter to 1. I didn't think the TCG had it in them. Obviously, I think it went to just 1 in OCG. It did. So I just wasn't confident. I thought the old like wise man's tale of like Shifter being our max C, as people like to say, was just a thing. But I don't know, they just Billy and Jerome took it out to the back of the barn and shot Shifter, and I think that's a good thing, because Shifter was probably I think the Malice matchup is typically I think Malice is a healthy deck for the most part. I just think Shifter and Nightmare Griffin were super just toxic things. I didn't think Nightmare Griffin would go either, honestly. I thought Nightmare Griffin was I thought it was one of those like quality of life things that didn't necessarily need to go, but if we're talking about getting rid of floodgates, it definitely should. So like it's good to see that happen, but it's like that card should have like went after the first core of the tier format of like pote tier format, basically. But no, the Shifter hit is like huge. So like I think that's like a huge thing for the game, honestly.
Oh yeah, I'm glad Shifter's gone. I literally played a regional last weekend, and literally my round one, I got 3 turns to attempt to play, and every single turn I got to attempt to play, I got shifted. Game 1, I got shifted, I just had to pass, and I got OTK'd. Game 2, I got shifted, passed, I got to Lancium, but it got back to my turn. I put a body on the board. He took the shifter out of grave with a Bestial, and then shifted me again. It's like, okay, cool. I love this card that can resolve multiple times in a game.
Yeah, so I think like we'll see. Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say, Zelda?
Oh no, you go first. It's fine.
I was gonna transition to something else, so feel free to make a comment on this.
Yeah. I was gonna talk about from like the branded perspective here.
Sure.
With Shifter at 1, I feel like Light and Darkness Dragon Lord as a whole, at least until it's a format where it's really overtly impactful, might fall off a bit, because I found especially its usefulness was in how into Shifter matchups it could just lock them back from playing, because you can make it so easy on Shifter. Now I'm not sure how regularly it's going to be seeing play, especially since right now you do a more like interactive, like layered board state than Lad the game.
That's a really good point. Honestly, I hadn't even like thought of offhand, but yeah, I think like Shifter's biggest utility was into, or sorry, Lad's biggest utility was into Shifter, and now with it basically being unplayable, I think Malice will still just throw it in their decks, but effectively it being just a card that should not be in a card you have to worry about anymore. Yeah, I think I think it was already leaning that way because of cards like X ryzeal, and with X ryzeal remaining at 2, right? Like I think Lad's usefulness in branded might be, for a different format because of that. So that's a really good point. Why Shavara at 1 in the first place? Weird. I mean, Unchained was really good at the time. Unchained was playing through like 3 hand traps on like its average like 2 to 3 card combo hand. I think it was their 3 card combo hands, but they got to the 3 card combo hand a lot. Are you happy to? Well, I guess that can lead us to the semi limits, because okay, Masterpiece, whatever. Like in Brilliant Fusion, okay, we give Gem Knights a bone. Bonfire to 1, this was very expected and like just kind of needed to be hit because this was ryzeal's best 1 card starter outside of just drawing a next. So Laddie Low just gifted 5 memberships. I appreciate you, Laddie Low. What's up, brother? How's it going? How's the content grind going, brother? Appreciate you, my man. Happy BANLIST day. I appreciate the 5, my man. Getting us 5 closer to giving away 3 ultimate rare branded fusions once we hit 30 members or Twitch subs. So appreciate you, Laddie Low. And it looks like the chat says 74% of people say that the ban list was good, which I do think it was overall a good ban list. Dylan Norris, bro, rogue decks could have already compete. Now they're basically promoted to tier 3 with all these consistency grind game hits with the meta decks. Yeah, I think like overall, like the systemic thing, like the immediate implications of this list is that a lot of decks are playable. I don't think it's like a lot of decks are playable, but like, we just saw Memento win a ban list or win a YCS, and there were no hits on this deck. So, immediate reactions to the semi-limit list, though, guys.
It's a semi-limit list, all right. It's a lot of consistency. It's, what more is there to say than?
It's the biggest semi-limit list I've ever seen in a Yu-Gi-Oh ban list. I don't know if it, like Glad, yeah. I know you're in the chat. I don't know if it's ever gone bigger.
Yeah, personally, I feel like the either they're just like consistency hits to the best deck, or it's meaningless semi-limits here. Like Snake Eye on paper seems like it's throwing a bone. I know you've got Ash and Pot back at 2. With Bonfire 1 now, it was not worth the trade. The deck got worse with the semi-limits and the baby dragons. Is Dragon Link a thing still, or?
It's just a bone for Dragon Link, I think. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the new Dragon Rulers are coming out too, effectively maybe helping that deck. I think the Snake Eyes hits were kind of just like giving bones to these random Crystal Beast variants. Like, I don't think it really does anything. I think the most interesting hits are obviously the meta hits, like ryzeal Sword, Ice, and X to 2, and then 3 of the Malice 1 card, and all 3 of the Malice 1 card starters. Like To me, that is kind of crazy to me. Like, I'm not sure, because usually we'd see the semi-limit like, I've heard people say the semi-limit list shouldn't exist, and it seems like Konami disagrees with that, and they're gonna start using it a bit more liberally to maybe like do these like systemic things, like, or like do these interesting things by putting detonator to 1 plus these bans, and then like, you know, not like hedging around the edges with
I think the
consistency.
semi-limit section is like the testing zone at this point, because since we've taken, malicious off, it's just kind of either this zone where they throw cards like Lightning Storm to just kind of like be slightly less, potentially problematic than they are, but it's also this testing zone, right, where they take cards that are at 1 and they put them at 2 to see how it does, or they don't want to totally hit a deck yet, so they take a card and instead of putting it straight to 1, they put it to 2, then to 1. I think with this list, what they did, they did a lot along those lines. I think bringing back Black Dragon and White Dragon to 2 instead of 1 just kind of gives them a little bit more longevity within, decks that want to play them, namely in Dragon Link. I think that's especially important because they put Druis Worm to 1, so they kind of wanted to give them a little something to replace that. Hitting all of the good ryzeal names, I think, was in a way the right move because, with Bonfire 1 already, choosing either X or Ice was still just kind of like this thing where you had to really think about it. It's like, okay, if you hit X, do you still have Ice, which, gives you a little bit more. It's one more starter for, the Fiendsmith build if you were to do it that way, because it's 1 Bonfire, 3 Ice, whereas now it's like, okay, 1 Bonfire, 2X, 2 Ice. It's like you're more telegraphed to have to play it in like the pure variant because you have, more power starters, and then just throwing Sword on there was, I think, although unnecessary, it was still just a nice little refreshing thing to do. And then since we're talking about Bonfire going, I arguably think Bonfire going and then Ash and Poplar going to 2 is arguably worse for Snake Eye, because now instead of having this card in Bonfire being at 3, that was both your starter or your extender, depending on what you opened in a deck that was already, basically killed off with OSS getting banned. It's now, okay, sure, you have 2 Poplar, but you want to add it anyway, and it's not like it is still a starter without OSS as much as it was. So I think that just is worse for Snake Eyes, and I think people who are like clamoring, thinking that, oh, Snake Eyes, it's coming back, it's going to be bad, it's going to be a bad thing, it's going to be really good. I think they are coping way too hard on that idea, because I think the deck got worse than it was before. The Malice hits, I think, I don't like where they went with the Malice hits here, right? Because you've seen variants running around where it's like, okay, they're not even running 3 White Rabbit anymore, right? Like some of the variants are only running like 1 or 2 because they're going onto like a more hand trap heavy version. So they're just sitting there with, their Fiendsmith cards, with their Bisteels, with, all of that stuff, and just going really dedicated into this 20 plus hand trap build like Triff was playing. And, we've seen a couple other players adopt lists like that where they're just, trying to take out more of like the dead cards, and they're taking out like the the TB11, so that like the White Rabbit isn't even really a starter. We've seen some of those builds floating around, so I feel like with that already in mind, and the fact that we have the new added Nister support coming, and we have the new Malice card coming, I think those hits were not the consequential hits on this list. I think the consequential hits on this list was specifically the Decoder and the Griffin. I don't think had those not got hit, these hits would not matter.
Yeah, I think not limiting one of these cards, like the fact they're semi-limit, it doesn't affect their grind game at all. And also we already have the Adignister support coming out, and then we have Signet Mining, which a lot of builds don't even run, which is just there waiting to be ran. So I don't think it really, I think it makes the deck lose to Droll a bit more. Like, I guess it doesn't really, to me, those are kind of fake hits. Like maybe if Dormouse went to 1, we would be talking. But like also I do think Decoder and Griffin being banned are pretty significant in terms of what they were doing.
those are certainly the consequential hits for Malice on this list, because otherwise, like, those other hits would be kind of like yes, it would be consistency hits, but they would be almost like do nothing consistency hits, like we saw with Snake Eyes, where it's like, yeah, they put the cards down, but did it really do anything? I think that changes specifically only because of what they put in the bans. And then as far as like the last couple cards on the semi-limited section, you have Sharvara coming back to 2, which is fine. You know, they basically made Yubel really bad by putting Phantom to 1. And then you also have, I personally did not think Unchained was a very unfair deck. I didn't think it was even a good deck. I tried playing that deck and I just could not get past how, bad some of those hands would get and how, like, meaningless some of those forms of interaction could be against certain decks. So I don't care about giving buffs to either one of those decks, really.
Yeah, that was let me just read a couple chats and then we can discuss some more. Laddie Lowe saying that Brandon's gonna be a lot better post ban list. Yes, I already had Darwin talking. I was talking to Darwin. Darwin's like, Brandon got a lot better post ban list, and I completely agree with that. With Shifter and Dweller just being taken out back, I think that really helps Branded really go into the meta. You can start breaking boards with Engine again. It's gonna be a fun time. I mean, maybe not with the Fiendsmith stuff, but and then Glenwad, Odeon, and Primate be brought up while ryzeal and Malice brought down a wee bit. Yeah, I think Odeon, oh my god. Odeon Fiendsmith best deck, guys. Let's see. Malice, Bestial, Fiendsmith, or Striker is the only playable version now. I'm not sure about that.
No.
What did you say, Zelda?
No, I don't think that's right. I think Malice got potential for now. Like, there's no way Malice just goes back to what it was. I think there's definitely more potential it has now than it once did with Circular.
Yeah, like we were just kind of saying, the consistency hits there don't really affect it, and plus a post alliance insight's really going to be fine. Rob Zhang, thanks for subscribing to the channel. I appreciate it. Glenn Wad, there have been some doozies, but this screams we want to hit consistency, but we actually can't hit these 2 top decks. Totally out of the meta before Nats. Semis for cards like Mali, that's it. Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're trying to do something different with the semi list, but I kind of agree where it's like, I don't even think like Dragon Tail and K9 and Yummy are confirmed to come out before our Nats. So like, there's a chance we're just still in pure ryzeal Malice meta, and they want to open it up for that reason. Either way, and then Glenwad says D-Link, Blue Eyes, White Woods, Odeon all got better. Yes, it's likely Malice's best deck post Allen, but the consistency does matter at top events. Do we really think these ryzeal semis did anything to the deck? I mean, I guess it's on top of Bonfire, but like can we, like, is ryzeal not going to be the best deck now? Like what do we think are like, just like offhand, like the top 5 best decks, like in no particular order?
Malice, ryzeal, Blue Eyes are still going to be top 3. Memento showing itself to be a top deck as of this YCS, and I'm not sure on a 5.
It's gonna be a super wide open meta. I think that's gonna be like defining it. I don't think it's gonna be like a super like. I think all the decks are gonna be closer together in power and everything. So you'll be able to see a lot more other things. And plus, we still have Alan. We have a lot of things to be announced for that, including like TCG exclusive stuff. Mouse found dead in the dumpster. Thanks, Konami, says Gabe Heatley. I don't think so. I think you guys are gonna be fine. I think we'll see, but list is decent, but it will be Fiendsmith.dex. Yeah, so is this going to be a bad thing with Fiendsmith everywhere? Just, like, stinking up the room? Like, they didn't hit Kashira cards. You know, it seems like Konami TCG really likes these generic engines that decks can just splash in their deck. Is this going to be an issue? I mean, we'll see. I know we kind of talked about this before with ryzeal Fiendsmith, but the fact there's going to be other Fiendsmith decks around, you know, it's going to be one of those things to really keep in mind when we already see Odeon Fiendsmith taking down like a huge Philly regional and things like that. You guys not acknowledging the fact that Malice has no counter to Lancey is crazy. What do you mean? Oh yeah, Crossout just got...
I mean, the deck,
that was actually
so,
a hit to fucking Malice too.
So here's the thing, though, with the new support between like the Adagnister cards and well, those specifically, I suppose, especially with the new Link monster, like I'm pretty sure there are still lines where you could like Splash Mage transcode your way up into that and just kind of, put that on the board and at least still have something. So I think it's fine that they don't really have counterplay to Lancia per se.
Yeah, I'm kind of regretting not picking up a Fiendsmith engine now, but to be fair, the stuff just got reprinted. But yeah, no, I agree. I think the Alliance Insight stuff helps it play through Lancia, but the fact is, you guys are gonna have a lot. Like Lancia is gonna be, it's gonna be an interesting dynamic. It got better and worse post Allen with this ban list. Shark is dead, says Emmanuel. I don't think so. Tachyon's fine. Well, I guess Shark ryzeal is dead.
Shark's 100% dead.
Oh really?
No.
Oh yeah,
Shark
because
is dead.
Bahamut.
Shark is terrible. No Toad makes that deck horrendous. Like they can still put up like some forms of interaction, but taking away like their biggest like pushing point in the fact of having Bahamut into Toad to insulate their early plays, it just makes Sharks horrendous. Like sure, you can still play it, but like what are you ending on? Because normally you were putting out like water things, right? You were putting out Dweller, you were putting Bahamut Toad. Like what are you doing now that those cards are gone?
There any? Oh yeah, and then the limits. There is actually nothing notable. Yeah, I mean I think someone asked me, would you still play Talents in Branded? For sure. I mean we only ran a 1 of Talents before. I think for the most part. I mean we saw Darwin run 3, but I think like Talents going to 1 was just like something that really had to happen, in my opinion. That card was always just like a very non-game factor a lot of the time with decks. Which is not what you want. Also, how the BANLIST affects Witchcrafters. Cyberjar, not at all. Not at all. So, does this just all say not at all? Okay. So, after this list, Witchcrafters is still shit. Thanks for reading. Thank you. So, yeah, no. I mean, overall, I do like this list. I just think it doesn't change a lot of the real... I mean... It makes it so things are more wide open. Other decks can compete. Rogue decks are getting a lot better because of like things like Crossout, Dweller. I mean, not specifically Crossout, but I guess Crossout does help. And then things like that, just like going to the wayside and Shifter. But I still think like Malice and ryzeal, especially post Allen. I think this imaginary format that we're in for the next month until Allen gets released, I think Malice and ryzeal will be the weakest they've ever been in the TCG. But until then, but post Allen, I think that they will likely be the best decks again. And I don't think it will be by any sort of overwhelming margin, though. Especially with potentially Justice Hunter stuff coming out. But I mean, we'll see if like we needed to get the extra ryzeal hit or not. I think the TCG is trying to see if they can let ryzeal and Malice cohabitate with other decks and then future decks, or if they actually have to hit the deck more like the OCG did, to where it's these decks are. I mean, Malice is still fine in the OCG, but that's for other reasons. Tracked is $150 for a playset.
Yeah, Tracked was on the rise because it wasn't shown to be reprinted in Bonanza. So yeah, I mean, Tracked going up because Engraver did get reprinted in that is reasonable.
Remember to look at the presentation before. Yeah, I got you. Oh, sorry. What did you say, TJ?
Yeah, Tracked is currently $63 to $65 on TCG right now, and there are only less than 10 in that range before it goes up to 70, and then 75, and then 80.
It's so crazy. Orcus is on the way, right?
Is also like $35 with very few listings.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I don't have to touch much as a branded player for this ban list. I think like whatever on a lot of things. Also, Druiswarm, I guess we didn't really talk about that. Does Druiswarm to 1 actually, like, I guess that is a hit to Maliss. Maliss actually took, like, 8 hits this list. It's kind of crazy. But does Druiswarm to 1 actually change anything?
It does in the sense... It does in the sense that it was literally the best one. It was not only a way to extend like combos in certain decks, but it was also a board breaker in the fact that as soon as you linked it off, it allowed you to chain block certain things, and 2 was able to just clear a threat off the board. So in the sense of like extension, it doesn't matter, but in the sense of having that board breaker aspect, that's where it really matters. Because, you know, we have other Bestials, we have Baldrake, you know, we have Saronir, but are they as good? No, because they don't have that additional board breaker effect.
Apparently Lacrima is also going up a lot. Yeah, Lacrima is like $40.
Yeah, 35 plus, yep.
How does Brandon deal with Light and Darkness Chaos Angel? You crash Mirror Jade, and then 1 detonator. I think the 1 detonator really does make it so that the ryzeal end boards are a lot weaker now without Dweller. Like, because you just like Metal Tronus their board and they're done. Like for the like they are done. I don't know.
Yeah, cards like Metal Tronus and Slayer definitely get better with Dweller gone.
Oh, that's a good point too. With that's why people weren't running Slayer. I'm so happy to see Talons and Crossout go. Those were 2 of my like hits. I didn't think they and Shifter too. Like honestly, this list is, you know, despite the weird consistency hits, like the best way I can describe them, I think like the systemic things they did are really good for the game. And I'm looking forward to playing. Like I think Crystron gets amazing now. Crystron, look out for Crystron. Crystron's trying to win a YCS. We're on Nats here. Next season.
Yeah, Crystron definitely gets better as a deck. I like that because one of the things holding it back certainly was Dweller. And while, you know, the same could have been said about, you know, Mermail, Atlantean, Dweller holding it back, it was still one of those things that at least that deck had certain ways to go through it. But Crystron, you know, even though it did have ways to go through Dweller, it couldn't deal with Dweller plus something else. And so seeing, you know, Dweller go, it's a lot easier to play into that, especially playing something like Metal Tronus, which before, you know, you could attempt to hit a Dweller, but it wasn't really going to do anything in attempting to do such because they would just chain to pop it. I think another important thing to note with Metal Tronus and what makes it stronger is with the Fiendsmith ryzeal variants falling more to the wayside, if not even potentially just falling off the map entirely now, is that deck would make Caesar, which would make Metal Tronus, you know, not viable unless you were specifically targeting the Caesar. So I think that's another thing that just kind of is a push for a card like Metal Tronus.
See, that's interesting that they felt like because the implication is that like ryzeal Fiendsmith, which was the biggest Fiendsmith issue, is not playable anymore because of the hits that like they just felt like they didn't need to hit the Fiendsmith card. So that's kind of interesting. How open is this format?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily playable. I think it's less good though.
I think pure is obviously
like
the
you
best
have to
now.
play more copies of track.
Yeah. How open is this format now? I think it's quite open, but I think this next month is quite open. Once Alliance hits, I think it's Malice, ryzeal, tier 1, and then everything else is like tier 2 for the most part. But we'll see how that goes. I mean, I just think Malice is going to be really dominating post Alliance. I think Star ryzeal with X to 2, you know, we're gonna, I mean, the 1 detonator might actually change things up. We have to see that, like, that's something we can't just like say what's going to really happen in terms of the dynamic with ryzeal or not offhand. Dominus Impulse wasn't touched by the ban. Sorry, what, TJ?
It definitely matters, like I was talking about earlier, as far as plugin, and especially with things like Star being able to just set it and then still being able to resolve Duo Drive. I think that is especially important to consider.
For me?
when I get QCR Metamorphosis, can you sign it for me? Says iFunny Giant. Of course, I'd always I'm always down to sign cards. Just always come up to me or just let me know before an event. I'll make sure to come meet up with you. It's always an honor because to do that. So yeah, I would love to do that. QCR Metamorphosis, I need to get for my goat deck though. iFunny, it looks so good as a QCR. So thank you for the 10. That's extraordinarily kind of you for the $10. Thank you, brother. Fun discussion, I guess. We could talk about Masterpiece and Brilliant Fusion. I think that Brilliant Fusion to 1 doesn't do anything outside of really helping the Gem Knight support and Alliance Insight. Like, I don't like. I heard from somebody if Brilliant Fusion went to 3, it would change nothing. I'm not sure if anyone agrees with that, but also, holy iFunny Giant with the 10 gifted subs. Or the 10 gifted YouTube memberships. My man is pushing us over to give away 3 ultimate rare Fallen of Albaz's, brother. Appreciate that. That's very kind of you. 10 gifted on top of the 10. My man is like, my man's popping off here on top of, yeah. iFunny, what did you think of the ban list overall? Was it disappointing at all to you? Was there anything that they missed, or are you pretty happy and looking forward to testing with the format? But yeah, thank you for the 10. I do want to keep up the conversation, but very kind of you. Yeah, like Brilliant Fusion, like TJ, I'm not sure, or I'm not sure, Zelda, if you were like playing Yu-Gi-Oh during this format when like Brilliant Fusion was at 3. It was a while ago, but like. Does this card change anything for any other deck besides Gem Knights, even if it went to 3?
So I think at 3 it risks potential issues in decks that inherently play light monsters that have, effects in the graveyard. The additional normal summon in some decks can be especially relevant. I think at 1 it is probably fine because now you are having to play at least 1 Garnet in the very literal sense, that to go with your 1 Brilliant Fusion, which isn't exactly great. And if you want to consistently be using Brilliant Fusion, you have to do something like run the Predaplants, which are also just hand trap magnets as well, in a very, hand trap forward format as we keep going through those time and time again. But at 3, you would definitely see potential, like, more of an issue, because that's one of those cards that it becomes an extender and having an extra normal summon, and it makes light decks by design, as long as they have something that activates in the graveyard, just have that little bit of extra oomph, whether it's, something that triggers in the graveyard to summon itself, whether it be something that just activates in the graveyard to get a search or something. It's just a future proofing of card design that is very difficult to make a call on.
Also, I do just want to quickly, Jess Hall with the 20 gifted. Is that 20 gifted Twitch subs? Holy crap. Or no, it's okay, so it's 10 gifted Twitch subs, and you gifted 10 before, so I do appreciate that, Jess Hall. That's crazy. Thank you for the 10 more. I appreciate you, Jess. It's wonderful to have you back, and that's very kind of you. Oh my gosh, you guys are too generous. That's all I'm gonna say. I believe we have our illustrious guest now, Smams YGO on YouTube, the Marincess, and Mermal King. How are you doing? I don't know if Sam's here now, but we'll see when he's. Do I have Sam muted? No, okay, yeah, okay. So he's still loading up.
Well, I think I've said my bit, so I think I'm gonna hop off.
Thank you, TJ. I appreciate it. Anything to plug?
Expect to see me playing Tearlament again.
I think I'm gonna do the same. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Peace out, Zelda. Have a good one, brother. Check out Zelda Duelist on YouTube, guys. If you want to link your YouTube, feel free to, Zelda, in the chat.
Nah, it's fine. I need to do something with it soon for the new format because it's looking like it's going to be fun.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. So, iFunny Giant got a new membership as well. iFunny celebrates one more membership. I don't mind the ban list hits. I don't feel like it. Let me see. I've got to see on that. Sam, I can't hear you if you're here, by the way. Okay, this is going crazy here. Jess Hall just gifted another 5. Oh my god. Okay, so yeah, Jess Hall just gifted 15 altogether, and then iFunny just gifted 11 over on YouTube. So shout out to everybody who just got a membership. If you got a membership, please join the Discord. You get a hold of the classroom and all that fun stuff. But I do want to keep up the conversation. Oh no, Sam left, so he's not here anymore. Thank you very much for the Twitch subs and YouTube memberships. iFunny Giant. I don't mind the ban list hits. I don't feel like it's as modern going after Snake Eyes. Sad Graceful Charity is unbanned. Oh my gosh. If Graceful Charity was unbanned, I feel like Dark World would actually just have the biggest field day of its life. Graceful might be one of those cards I could see maybe like coming back eventually. It's just like the discard factor, like really triggering those Dark World cards. Also, it's just a great card. I don't like the crossout hit either. I mean, why don't you like the crossout hit? I mean, I personally feel like it was something that was kind of like making mirror matches a bit. It was like a really ignorant card in the mirror match. But yeah, no, thank you, Jess Hall, for the 15 gifted. Jess, what do you think of the ban list? I do want to hear from you as someone who just came back. Like, what is your first reaction on that? Because I didn't see the chat was going by so fast. I couldn't quite see. Yeah, join the Discord. Andy, the Discord link, you could just find it underneath all my links on Twitch, or you could go to the YouTube. Cheers to you guys. I have to go work. Have work early tomorrow. Bye, Jess. I appreciate you. Thanks for being the Jess, for being the best. Jess Hall, very interesting to me. Pretty good. Hell yeah. Branded is really good too. So if you're, I know you still have Branded locked and loaded, so it's gonna be a great option, honestly, for this ban or post ban list. I'm very much looking forward to cooking Branded, which we can do at the end of this. I do want to just kind of finish up some things. We have kind of touched on most of the cards though, which is a good thing. We had Galzo on, which was really fun, and then also I think Gabe, I think you were asking me something before, Gabe. If you're still here, I didn't see your message. Mateo Fire King is actually really good. Yeah, Fire King got a lot better without Shifter and Dweller in the format for sure. I think Mitsu ryzeal variant is the strongest now. I really like this ban list. I'm a ryzeal player because I lose only a X and the rest is nice. If you use Melotronos on Detonator, I'm like, okay, anyway. And then also you can run the Omni Negate, right? Like it's the only ryzeal variant with an Omni Negate. And as someone who loves the Mitsu variant, I'm very happy that they put X to 2, honestly, because it means that my like ryzeal core isn't useless now. Adam King, great. So Konami just decided to completely ruin Malice. That's so great. Adam King, I guarantee you, Malice is just fine. I think Shifter like being gone, like it's just gonna have to make you like play Malice in like a more way that doesn't rely on Shifter, and like you already have to most of the time, right? Joey Core Smith's fan, pick up Engravers and Mew Stampede for cheap. You're golden with Rack and 2 track. Sell one tracked if you have 2, says Joey Core. Fair enough. Yeah, limit Engraver, ban Moon Glacier on the ban list is perfect. Yeah, I saw a lot of people want Moon Glacier and stuff like that. I'm personally thinking Hand Rip for sure was a toxic thing that could be banned in the future. I'm just gonna call Sam here and see if this works. Sam.
What's up?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, sorry, no, my computer, I lost internet there.
Oh, no.
Was I here the whole time?
No, I mean, it like disconnected you a few minutes ago, and I just figured you were fixing your thing.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, but
welcome to the stream. I appreciate you coming on. I really did want to hear your ban list take, and now we have the illustrious Glenwad here as well. Shout out to all my goats joining the testing room. How's it going, Glenn?
Living the dream, man. How about you?
Oh, I'm great. I want to hear you guys' ban list reactions. Sam, since you joined first, let me know what's your hot take as someone who plays. Can we do the 21 gun salute for the Bahamut Shark, Sam? I feel like you might be someone who I don't know. I don't want to jump the shark, so you tell me what your opinions are on the ban list.
Let me just get it pulled up on my end. Okay, so yeah, Bahamut Shark's tough. um, I'm not long to this long in all reality. I'm glad that I got to play with it for as long as I did. Rip Toad. Yeah, I guess I just gotta be I gotta be more careful about resource management. Abyss Dweller, bruh, thank goodness. I hate that guy.
Swarm went to 1, right? Like Swarm went to 1, like
Yes.
Shifter went to 1, like it's a give and take. Like Talents went to 1. Like there's a lot of hits on here, I feel like. Even if you took a hit on your list, like I think Mermal's gonna be fine. I think Marincess will be fine, frankly, even with the Toad hit. Because like, Shifter's at 1, so like Dweller's banned now, so like I don't know. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts on like these really just like systemic things going on with the ban list here.
Dweller ban is good for the game. It should have happened like 6 years ago. Druis Worm to 1 is awesome. Anything to get that annoying card out of here. It's still gonna see play as a 1 of though. It's just so stupid good.
You can finally play PK again.
That's not true. Sarnir and Baldrake are at 3, so there's what 11 Bystials if you include Lubellion. There's no way. That's over a quarter of your deck.
Actually, I'll be around for a bit. I forgot to throw my work clothes in the wash. Let's go. Lee Warrior, what's up? What do you think about Branded performing in the new format? We'll talk about Branded at the end of this. Just gonna get Sam and Glenn's opinions on the list, because I feel like there's so many things on this list that are gonna change things.
Talent to 1 is hilarious.
Do you agree with that? Like were you ever a talent
It should have
hater?
happened 3 years ago.
Okay. That was another card you were waiting to check off on your list. It was like right under Link Kuriboh.
Like, the list just keeps getting cards checked off, man. Like I called Bahamut Shark, I called Griffin, I called Link Decoder.
Oh, you were a Bahamut Shark over Toad kind of guy?
Ever since I started playing, like, yeah, I think since I started playing Marincess, I'm like, damn, dude, Bahamut Shark is the problem. Toad's fine.
Yeah, at
I
least
was
you're
literally
paleo,
talking at locals last week about how Snake Eyes, Ash, and Poplar aren't doing anything and that they're likely to come off the limited spot. I didn't think it was going to be this soon, but I'll take that as another called shot.
You are the only one who predicted that. Congratulations.
Such and Jack coming back is really cool. I hope we get some Dark World reps playing the deck.
Graceful Charity next ban list. You heard it here first.
Dude. I'd cry. I'd play it in anything except super heavy.
Glenn, I'm
Monkey
not sure
board.
if you're here right now still, but what is your opinion on the ban list as a Labyrinth player? I don't know why I said as a Labyrinth player, but
Gross. No, it's overall good. I approve. It they hit ryzeal and malice just enough to let other decks breathe.
Yeah.
And then they gave some fun things back as well, right? Like 2-clap, that's kind of cool. Unchained getting to play some more, that's kind of neat. They're just letting people play. It's probably still gonna be like malice and ryzeal top 2, but like Fiendsmith untouched, Odeon's really good.
Yeah, dude, the Smith family just being able to live in the neighborhood for free is insane.
Yeah, dude.
They just moved
They're,
in.
they're right next
ryzeal
door to the
detonator
fucking
going to
to
one
the
helps.
pistols.
I'm glad that
Yeah.
Shifter is a
This
step
just have been
closer
hit
to
a little
Hal.
bit harder.
Ben
I think
Griffin
each
locked
1 to
into
1.
Bist. This
They're
list was
they're on
needed.
6th Street.
It's ridiculous.
Morphing Jar to 2, play it in Mimigool? No way.
Thank you for the 5, laddie. With ryzeal, I'll have you finish right after this, Glad. With ryzeal detonator going to 1 helps. I'm glad that Shifter is a step closer to help. And Griffin locked into Abyss. This list was needed. Completely agree on that, but we'll get into that. I'm curious to what Glenn. I mean, like I think it's like really important what you said, where it just like opens up the list. And also, once again, thank you for the 5. It opens up the format, because before it really felt like you were kneecapping yourself if you weren't running ryzeal or malice to some level. Like we saw the malice player the labyrinth player go undefeated day 1 with labyrinth at this YCS, which was a very impressive feat. However, that is not something I feel like that can be consistently replicated. I'm not saying like make labyrinth a tier 1 deck. I'm saying things should be a little bit more wide open than it was, and I think this ban list kind of does that. I think the consistency hits are weird, but like, you let me know what you can think of, what you make of that as someone who's been playing the game on and or I guess like really just competitively, or at least like being keeping track with it forever. Like, do these semi limits, like what do they say to you? You said like maybe it's a testing ground for what they're doing, or how do you feel about it?
I've always been a firm believer of semi-limit is for shit that can't be at 3 and is useless at 1. So I think it's it's like that sweet spot for for Mally, right? The rest of the time, like right now, it's definitely like we just don't know what to do, or we can't hit these decks hard enough, and don't want to shake things up too much before Nats, at least. That's honestly what this just says. They just kind of shrugged. They said, "Here, take some Snake Eyes. Sure, take some things back. You probably still won't be good enough." And it's very likely just ryzeal malice still. Like the breathing room's there. Like it won't be. It might not be 16 ryzeal decks top 32, but like if we see something cool like 9 ryzeal, 9 malice at Rhode Island, and then sprinkling some other shit like some Odeon. Fire King got a lot better as well. That deck's kind of nuts.
Yeah, people were saying that. I do think it was already good too, right? Like things like Crystron, there's gonna be a lot of decks that become playable. I could see it being a pseudo, Kashira format. That's 2023 format where like Kashira was obviously the best deck, but like every other deck could basically compete with it and had a shot of winning at least. So where like ryzeal and malice would take that spot. So I think that's kind of what we're going into. I do think those decks get a bit weaker before Alliance Insight though. Like we saw ryzeal actually fall off when X went to 1 with similar hits. I mean, X to 2 is different, obviously, but the other cards also got semi-limited, so I think that basically makes up for that consistency. So I could see actually ryzeal falling off a little bit harder, at least until Alliance Insight, but I personally predict post-Alliance Insight, Malice will be the best deck, and because Detonator to 1 is also something I feel like is being not underscored enough. Maybe other people are on Twitter. I'm not sure, but I feel like that's just like a hit we didn't see coming, and then also a hit that might have really big implications for just like making ryzeal a bit more thin. But I could be wrong. Like it's not like ryzeal. It's like ryzeal can still go full combo, but I don't know. How do you guys feel about the detonator kind of situation? Or I guess you think like these were sufficient enough hits to, I mean, I guess like we kind of just covered that, but if you guys have any other thoughts on that.
If anything, detonator limit just makes the twins of the Eclipse twins play more committal. Because if you have a card that can deal with the detonator, like off beat basically, like you can deal with it in a way that like I don't know, it gets around Eclipse twins or some way. You're not going to really be able to get that detonator back without recycling it with cross. I don't know. You do have multiple copies of Eclipse Twins though with extra ryzeal that you can just send, but extra ryzeal is that at 3 or
X is now at 2. They're all at 2 now.
Okay.
X, Sword,
yeah,
and
okay.
Ice are at 2.
X, Sword, and Ice.
Yeah, okay, all right. I mean, I was kind of questioning why they limited ryzeal detonator. Like, they still have one copy. I guess they only have one.
They lose to Unicorn harder now, I guess. Also, I think they lose harder to just like with Dweller gone, like Ulti Slayer plus. I mean, mainly Metaltronus. Metaltronus is insane against that deck now.
I mean, if you saw the finals, Gotham Viper,
it's always been.
Dude, it was amazing. Oh my goodness.
Gilgamesh is a mouse player. I like this list a lot. Griffin was always a dumb card for link spam decks. Was Griffin on your list of cards to go, Sam? Because that card was kind of like Ibly to me, where like link decks just got to make that card for free, and not even link decks, just like Light Sword and like Tier Limit.
Yeah. No, I had Griffin on my bingo card.
Same.
Ever since it like started setting like dimensional barrier being sent off of Beatrice, or like it's just so stupid, dude. Like I think I literally said like all Nightmare Griffin needs is a link deck that can use spells or trap cards well. Malice does that. Crazy that it was a Dark Cyber deck that revolves around banishing. Of course, it's going to be insane. But yeah, like Nightmare Griffin, dude, what a crazy card.
I'm glad it's gone. It's gonna make. I feel like Malice will actually be a fun deck to play against now with Shifter to 1 and Griffin gone. To be honest, like even post Alliance Insight, like it's not like they have Apo. What?
Link Decoder as well. Like that card is so dumb.
It made them play through infinite hand traps. It felt like Impermanent Veiler did nothing to them with Decoder in the game.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just like, well, now I just get to throw this in the graveyard, get a Bestial going. But yeah, I think the Link Decoder ban makes it so your hand traps actually can be meaningful against Malice, and the Nightmare Griffin ban makes it so a Boaku is actually an interesting Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Yeah, so it's not just being used for absolute evil.
Yeah, because like Griffin is a floodgate, but like when it saw competitive play, a lot of the time it was using its setting back row effect to get another floodgate. Like, it's never been a fun card.
Chizzy YGO, what's up, brother? In the chat, I think there's an argument for playing Palm ryzeal now, since Palm can recycle the presumably detonator, which is interesting. It's kind of interesting. Definitely something to consider.
I dig it.
I don't think ryzeal's done though. Slayers, but when ryzeal's done now, 0 recovery. I mean, you have a bunch of other rank 4s. Like Baguska's still legal, right? With cross, and then like you can still do the Baguska cross detonator thing, or just even with duo drive, like plus hand traps. I don't
think
know.
It's time. I think it's time, Chris.
Next on the list.
You know where I'm going with this, dude. Trying to put the super
Baguska
heavy
is
cards
like
in my
a
deck, you know what I'm
waiting
saying?
issue, right?
Dude, Wakauchi's a free rank 4.
Oh no! Someone mentioned Scarecrow coming back.
No way. Not a chance.
You
What do you
still
think was
think
missed?
that's too much without Apo Baron?
Yeah, I really do, bro. Like, you could just do other stuff. It's okay.
You could just make a free rank for, as Sam dutifully points
Yeah.
out whenever he can.
Put a Colossus on the end board, who cares?
Who cares?
Chris, Sam, do you guys think anything was missed that should have came off?
The Smith. Oh, this should have came off.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that wasn't like unbanned.
Yeah, like something that was forbidden that you think could have or should have. I think Bulb had a real opportunity here. Like buy his pants.
Out of here! There's no way.
Dude, yeah,
dude, nah.
absolutely.
Give Jessica Robinson a bone.
Like
Plant players can be trusted, alright?
they did bring back Block Dragon on Master Duel, but
That's for next ban list, guys.
no, it's not.
Dana
assure you,
is
it's
going
not.
to just. I'm never gonna want to duel Dana again if Black Dragon comes out.
Feel, bro, it's gonna be.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Commander
weird
became a
turns
member.
to be
Thank you,
like
Yu-Gi-Oh!
reminded
Commander. I
that, like-
appreciate it, brother. How you doing? How's the trip back from Houston going? Did you get some good domain games in and everything? What do you think about the ban list commander? Jake the Mountain Man ripped my wallet just for buying those CRs. Is that a big rip though? Because you bought the CRs for the malice cards. Now you just like trade one of each CR and then just like get the undergrounds you didn't have, right? Yeah, I mean, also like I guess that also begs the question: things that were missed. I genuinely think this ban list was very good. I thought they were gonna miss cross out and talents and shifter, and they didn't. So just like everything, they didn't need to do anything else in my eyes. Like they could have, or they didn't need to. I would be happy with the list if those things were there, but I think like things like the Fiendsmith engine obviously not being hit is going to be, I think, frankly a ticking time bomb, but we'll see how that goes, because I think like we just see like the Fiendsmith Odeon deck is crazy. Obviously it can't go second, but like the Fiendsmith cards inherently let you go second. So it is one of those things where we'll see what happens there. Yu-Gi-Oh! Commander, I'm still here. I was very surprised that the list was so long. Yeah, this is like, I asked Glenn before, but I'm pretty sure this is like the longest ban list we've ever gotten. At least, like, I think maybe the post-hat format list maybe was longer.
The
first implementation of the list as well.
I'm sorry.
And then maybe 2015, post 2015 Nats list, or maybe 2016 rather. I don't know. That I heard that one was big, but I didn't play that format. Why semi-limit all the ryzeals? Because they put detonator to 1, so I think they're you know, they don't want to kill the variants, so like Mitsu can still stay around, but they want to make it so like, because Fiendsmith ends up being like a lot better or worse now with ice to 2 and then bonfire to 1. So like Fiendsmith ryzeal is arguably already like a lot worse now. So it kind of like hit the variants it needed to hit. It also pure just got hit with the totally ban and then bonfire to 1 and detonator to 1, because detonator to 1 also just like hits, like it makes their end board in their grind game so much worse. I mean, I don't think it makes their end board so much worse. I just think it makes their grind game so much worse, which is a solid thing. Also, Yu-Gi-Oh! Commander with the 5 gifted subs. Holy shit. All right, we're going to be giving away Fallen of Albaz or 3 ultimate rare Fallen of Albazes. I appreciate it, dude. That's very, very nice of you. 5 gifted, guys. Wow, y'all are insane tonight in the chat with the gifteds. Appreciate everyone coming through to the chat. It's always... What's up?
I just said I just was gonna apologize. Dana just called me. She was like, "Are you okay? Like, you know, you're not like."
She had to
Yeah,
do a wellness
I'm
check on
fine.
you.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need. No, I don't need. I don't need anything like that. I swear I'm okay.
Like you need a friend.
I need Biru on the limited list too. Why not? Not saying it's gonna happen, and I'm not saying like it should, but I mean, I wouldn't say no. Um,
Keep up the good work, my man. Thank you. I appreciate you, Yu-Gi-Oh! Commander. You're very kind. I can't wait to throw down some Commander with you, brother, or some domain format. Everyone, check out Yu-Gi-Oh! Commander, by the way. Best pushing the best alternative format in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's something I've been wanting to really get into, and then also it's something that I recommend to people in general because like modern's modern, but it's always fun to find other fun like ways to have fun with Yu-Gi-Oh! Outside of modern, whether it's like Time Wizard or alternative formats. So I appreciate the work that Yu-Gi-Oh! Commander is doing in that space. Sped up songs, guys. What's the best way to play ryzeal right now? I think pure ryzeal will probably be the best variant right now, post BANLIST. But also, I think like someone made a good point where Mitsurugi ryzeal is looking very good because of X to 2 is still, and then you could, I mean, you get to run the tachyons and stuff like that. So it's arguably just fine. And then
I
we
think
also
you're
have
better
new
playing.
Mitsurugi support whatever that takes the form of. Battle Ram 316 non-banless question: if I don't have Charmies, which I put in for branded, Droll and Lockbird or more board breakers? I mean, now that Dweller's banned, though, I guess this could be a branded question. Like, we don't need Xyz Encore on our deck anymore. Like, you could run it for the detonator, but I think like droplet or even certain things would be just fine, although his Xyz Encore might still be an option. I don't think it's required anymore because you always just had to make sure Dweller did not resolve. Like, I'm sure, Sam, you had the similar experience with like going second on Mermel and like Marincest this last format. It was kind of like see droplet or see Xyz Encore versus these Dweller decks, or die going second.
I was on Metaltronus.
Yeah, exactly, or Metaltronus too.
Yep.
I unfortunately can't run Meltronus and branded without like looking silly. I mean, I can summon Sanctifier, or not even for Dweller. It's for Detonator.
Yeah, that is a light 3K. That's funny.
It all comes back to Sanctifier. It all comes back to Sanctifier. I'm still here. Surprised the list was so long. Fiendsmith is and will remain the biggest threat. I mean, we see Blue Eyes Fiendsmith, Odeon Fiendsmith. I think Fiendsmith ryzeal is probably done though, but we'll see.
I talked with Kyle about the ban list before coming on here.
Yeah.
Bro said it looks like Blue Eyes is gonna be the best deck. I laughed.
Oh, I wish.
It's not happening. Kyle literally like had a thought. It was like, when's World? I'm like, no way.
I do think this ban list positions it fine for Worlds. It's not hit on the OCG and TCG, and then ryzeal and Malice is so hit across both those lists that I think Blue Eyes should line up to be the best deck in TCG, or sorry, for Worlds format. But that's like a whole nother conversation. I think they like pushing you guys know my conspiracy theory where I say that Konami pushes the anime decks towards Worlds format every time. Like we saw Yubel and Blue Eyes win Worlds the last 2 times they came up.
Just making sure. Am I coming in choppy like usual?
You are good, Magic Geek. I just have to turn you down a little bit, but you are great for the most part. You don't have to adjust your audio. I got you. How are you doing, Magic Geek? What is your ban list reaction?
Honestly, man, I'm a huge fan of it overall. Like, especially with Bonfire going to 1, I'm surprised they didn't bring back OSF, to be quite honest.
Really? What would you would have liked to see what would you have liked to you would like to see that for Snake Eye?
Yeah, most likely. I mean, especially with them bringing the main monsters back to 2 at the very least, I feel like if they're going to put Bonfire to 1, they put OSS to 1, and I think like, it might balance out here or there.
The thing with OSS is that it's searchable. It just makes like White Forest Azamina just like how it is in Master Duel, where it's just obscene. I think they
that's
probably
super valid,
are just under like you know, OSS is just an objectively stupid card, and maybe there's a time to bring it back. But for now, we'll bring back the Snake Eyes cards as like, here's a way that you could play Snake Eyes pure, or maybe you could incorporate the Fiendsmith cards in there. But you know, you just don't have OSS. You're gonna rely on like Temple or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
I'm
sure. With
personally
part of
not.
that, I'm thinking it might be a Fiendsmith issue as well in the way of like you could do that exact same thing. I'm wording this terribly, but like I feel like also whenever they hit the Fiendsmith stuff, they might be able to bring back OSS at the very least to 1 to balance everything out. 'Cause I mean, I was a big fan of Snake Eyes Fire King while it was still a thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the thing is, like, it wasn't Snake Eyes as a deck. It was a Snake Eyes. This is like Snake Eyes as an engine to access certain cards for you. So like, maybe they just want Snake Eyes to be its own deck.
Yeah, for sure. I could see both ends of the sword for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to. I'm not personally a big fan of OSS. It being someone who plays Master Duel and sees how like OSS just makes a deck way better than it should be, in my opinion. But that is just my opinion. And did you have any other general thoughts on the list? I guess. Were you happy with like the shifter hits, the ryzeal hits, malice hits? Maybe some of the generic stuff like crossfire talents, if you had any opinions on any of the above.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was a big fan of Shifter, speaking being biased from a salad player for sure. Crossout being hit to me was understandable for sure, but it was also kind of wild. I was also sick of always having the out in hand and then the crossout always being stuck to my opponent's hand too.
Yeah, no,
But other than
100%.
that, I was also a huge fan of Circular coming back too, because I'm super excited for using it as an extender for salad as well if I need to.
Oh yeah, did Kyle have any? Did Sunlight Wolf have any opinions on circular comeback, or has he not gone that far into cooking Sam?
Uh, I believe he is cooking with it right now. I I could be mistaken, but um
And also speaking as a generic Cybers player in that regard, I also still have basically the entire Administer core as well, so I'm happy that that might actually finally be playable for me now too.
rib link decoder, but yeah, I get that.
I do want to throw up Triff's tweet because Triff had an interesting analysis of the format. He is saying a ban list sheet for everybody. Ryzeal consistency hits is huge to a deck that already bricks, but fine with solutions. Can't play Desires because low Ryzeal count, 0 grind game. That makes sense. No, like Desires being no longer an option in the deck. You can't just like, you know, Sam knows the struggle with Desires and Marincess with running cards that aren't just all 3 ofs, right? Like you want to see these cards, so that makes a lot of sense. Must play Tachyon cards to make up for consistency, which are Negwood and lose control grinds versus lots of hand traps, but no choice. So yeah, I think Ryzeal gets like hit on multiple. That's what I like about all these hits. Like all these decks get hit on multiple levels. Denair to 1 hurts the grind game. A second Ryzeal cross kind of fixes it if they out the board better than playing Ryzeal or Emerald. I mean, I think the only issue with that, I mean, we were already running 2 Ryzeal cross on the pure variant, but the issue is like Metal Tronus. Like Metal Tronus don't give no fucks about your cross. So, and Triff said that he still thinks Ryzeal's still tier 1 and best. And that's kind of where I was going with. I think Ryzeal's probably still the best deck until Alliance Insight. And then he said on Malice, Decoder is literally just not needed. Slight hit, but 1 less monster when you have 10 is fine. I mean, I think the Decoder hit is a little bit more significant than that, but I think he's generally correct where like it just changes the lines a bit and makes it so you get hand trapped a bit more easier on the line. Griffin is not a hit. Who gives a F about it when you end on unbreakable board regardless? I mean, this is like what I was talking about with Jeff Jones, where like the good Malice players were just like not making the Griffin board for like the most part. They were just like trying to do Cryptor control whenever they could, because most decks can't play through Cryptor plus hand traps plus GWC and stuff and friends. And semi-limits are a bit because the deck already bricks, but fine. And that's why I like to see, like, maybe those semi-limits, like, there was a point for that because the deck already bricked. But to me, like, when Signet mining exists and that new Adignister stuff exists, I'm not sure if consistency hits to Malice really are going to matter at the end of the day.
You could argue Droll's better against it.
That's actually what I said before, Sam. I love you for that. I was like, I guess Droll gets better.
Yeah.
And also too, with link decoder gone now as well, like it makes it obviously a lot more difficult for them to basically link climb from 2 into 3, or 3 into literally whatever else past that. Which in that regard, some people were also saying that it was supposed to be a nib out more or less. But now what's to stop them from literally choosing link spider at this point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He also said Mermail is still crazy. Toad lost, but gained no Dweller. I generally agree with that. Like, this is why I said before the list dropped, and this is what I'm going to say after the list dropped. They will be fine. Like, say hello to your new friend barrier statue. Like, Sam, time to throw up the TCG player, or I already know you have a water barrier statue. There's no way you don't. I know you own a copy.
Yeah, I think I do. I also have a Prima Donna, but I don't own Minstrels because I'm bad at the game.
You don't own the hand rip?
No.
Oh, is that because you're a good you're the one respectable Mermail player? JK.
All I'm saying is you don't need that shit to win. You just need that shit to rip a card from your opponent's hand.
I
It's
got
really
you
strong.
on the minstrels.
It's a lot stronger than the barrier statue. The barrier statue is very similar to the gimmick puppet lock from Branded, except it's a lot more routable.
I see a lot of people in the OCG. That's what they're doing with Toad not being legal. They just hand rip and then make a barrier statue plus like the link 2.
Yeah, if you have a combo deck that's ending on like a floodgate as part of their combo, it's over. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do think Mermail is going to honestly be just fine. It's kind of the
Hard.
Toad hit. It was like a good hit, but
Totally Awesome is one of the water pool's best interactions just in general. It's kind of one of their main ones that water decks have been designed around, basically. Like, you could end on Stealth Kragan and stuff. You could end on, hilariously enough, Ragna Zero.
That was my favorite thing to do in ryzeal for a second, since it's a Tachyon bridge into Sharks, which is now dead.
It also, it can pop any Malice monster when they resolve Dormouse.
That card is actually surprisingly good as an on-board piece this meta.
When ryzeal came out, I said I can't wait for Ragna Zero to be really good, and no one believed me. Like, just listen to me, guys. Come on.
He gives this information for free.
I'm not asking for anything in return, other than for you to listen.
Man, in that regard, since if Marincess starts becoming like more and more of a problem, or just becoming more and more prevalent, like what are you guys' thoughts on things like Ice Barrier coming back, or Crystron starting to rise up in that regard as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'll let Sam answer that since he is the Marincess guy, but also I think like any graveyard based deck like Crystron's gonna be a problem. Like everyone's gonna have to have a contingency for Crystron. That deck is crazy now, in my opinion.
Let me take a look at something real quick. Oh, never mind, it doesn't even work. Okay,
I guess secondary question while he's looking that up, what about we're possibly going to start running Ultimate Slayer more often, which I know a lot of people already are, but like, what's the option of that probably being more prevalent overall?
I mean, it's gonna be really good because Dweller's gone. I already think Ultimate Slayer was really good though, so I'm not sure how much that changes outside of just making it like probably just a better option than Metaltronus, but Metaltronus is just still absolutely insane.
I think in Marincess's case, Metaltronus is better because your Metaltronus target for any Malice extra deck monster is Aqua Argonaut, and then you can just link into Zelantis, and it's insane.
That's insane.
Yeah, and you have the main deck targets too, at least for a couple of the Malice main deck names. But it also does double duty at that point of taking care of Detonator as well, because I play Nibiru in my main deck. I just have that. If I was gonna play Slayer in Marincess, my XEs would be Toad, and there's no reason to play Toad anymore.
Yeah, rip Toad. So Yu-Gi-Oh!
Toad's
Command.
okay. Toad's okay. He's just chilling in the decks that he belongs in.
Yeah, I can't wait for new Paleo support.
Frank Kids Meow back to 1. You'll see Toad again, I promise.
I always have people come, like, whenever BANLIST season comes up, people are always like, Meow can come back to 1. Meow can come back to 1.
I saw a comment saying Dryden unban is weird. I'm like, what? Dryden's insane. What do you mean?
Do you think do you really think Dryden can't come back though, especially with without Broad Bull and then also with Detonator being in the game? I feel like at least without Broad Bull, it's like fine. I'm surprised that card didn't come back, honestly.
You see, the thing is like Detonator is not generic though.
Oh, I guess Zoo is.
Yeah, any rank 4. So like those Ritual Beast end boards that were making Colossus, you could throw a Dryden on there. I just don't think that they really want to do anything with the Zodiac extra deck monsters that are banned while Eclipse Twins is legal, because that is probably one of the stupidest interactions ever.
Wait, what's the interaction?
When you detach Eclipse Twins, when you cheat a zoo monster through its inscripted method on its text, it's still treated as an Xyz summon, so it is a properly summoned monster. So you can go Zoo Body into Xyz, into JK9, into Detach, into Bring Back Bro, into Overlay, into Eclipse Twins, and it's insane, dude. Eclipse Twins is crazy.
Yeah, Eclipse Twins actually is good in Zoo as well.
It's so messed up.
We found another deck that Eclipse Twins is finally good in, guys. We did it.
Well, the thing about it is like all the Zodiacs are soft ones per turn, so like it's just really abusable with Eclipse Twins, and I'm sure that TCG is just not ready to bring back the Zoo cards with that being legal. That's just my theory. I could be wrong, but
yeah, because it's not like it's doing anything in OCG, but that doesn't mean like it's not good.
Yeah, exactly. Like Dryden is better than pretty much every other rank 4 that exists. That's generic.
Jake the Mountain Man, load me a Fiendsmith engraver or a Fiendsmith engine. I got you. Oh yeah, also tracks are $100, guys. Congrats, we did it.
Me when Fabled is coming out soon, and that's the reason why.
Not the 500% price increase.
It's disgusting, bro.
Man hit me with the 500.
If I had a Fiendsmith tracked, I would sell it, and I would buy McDonald's.
You wouldn't buy the rest of your Aqua Angel playset or your collector
you could
rare?
throw that in there too. They're like $20 a pop. Who cares?
Do you guys what do you think people are going to beef up their Fiendsmith packages with? Now 3 engraver, 3 track, more copies of Lacrima. Is there any reason to change the Fiendsmith engine? The engine didn't get hit. I would imagine that the ratios stay the same unless people just like play Sanked over some of these consistency hits.
Huh. You're going to play every Fiendsmith card in the archetype. Throw Kyrie in there. Throw Rex Tremende in there. And you're good.
Motherfucker. That big guy.
Have you read Rex Tremende?
Yeah, he's good if he was like summonable. Right? Like kinda, not really.
No,
he's just a tower.
That's not the issue with it. Yeah, but it's unaffected by card effects except Fiendsmith cards. So like their Fiendsmith engine can out it, so it's not a towers.
Yeah, would they be like, yeah, like, oh no, it's immune except against the best engine in the game.
Like Graver target descendant. It's like, what do I do? I guess when it's sent to grave, you get to foolish burial something, or I don't know. Maybe it's add something back. Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, the Fiendsmith engine needed cards in their hand. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, overall, I mean, I personally think it was a really good. I don't know if it's like my favorite list in a while, but I think it's probably my favorite list since I've been back. Like, I can't tell. Like, I don't know. Maybe this list is really good to me. I'm looking forward to playing Yu-Gi-Oh! It makes me want to play TCG a lot more now. I think TCG is going to be looking really good. I think Master Duel is going to be looking really silly in comparison to. I mean, I love Master Duel obviously, but I think it is really one of those things that wow, someone just sent me a screenshot of them buying 3 QCR tracks for $50 yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, shout out to you. Yeah, no, I mean, I think also one cross out, one talents makes hand traps good again. Yeah, like are board breakers ever gonna? I mean, we'll see, because I think with the yummy Dragon Tail meta, hand traps are not looking good. So like for right now, I think yeah, hand traps are definitely the play, but it
Board
might not
breakers are
last.
gonna be insane because Yummy's end board is not really layered.
It takes a dark ruler to the face and dies.
Yeah, and they make Arclight on like summon 7 or later, so you can just nib them. And it significantly reduces their ceiling. It doesn't stop them from playing, because if they have the field spell, they can just go, okay, bring a bro back, link into Link Spider, and keep playing. That's why I'm saying, hey, Link Spider should also go.
Should
But yeah, like
Ling Karibo also go, and like just all the Link 1 generic Cyberses?
yeah, Lingaribo will eventually find its way too. Dude, that card is so dumb.
I was gonna say, isn't Malice just fine because they have Ling Karibo still?
Yeah, but the thing about it is, like, your imperm still means something because it removes a link material from the field.
Yeah.
Because they have to tribute it. But, you know, sucks.
Plausible sheep, Toad just chilling in Sprite. Yeah.
Honestly, like, I'd rather have Toad be able to be played, because, you know, Toad's a cool card, and it's honestly not any more unfair than other cards. But, like, man, I'm gonna miss that guy.
Yeah, man, that's an end of an era for you. Like, if you guys remember Sam's locals gameplays, that guy
I have
was
other
on
extra deck cards I can play now. I'll just throw in like Area the Water Charmer Gentle, some other stuff. I don't know.
All right, GG's, gentlemen. I gotta head back to work. I'll catch y'all later.
All right, bye, Magic Geek. Have a good one, Magic. Feel free to link out your channel if you'd like to in the chat.
Deuces.
Oh, will do. Thanks, guys.
Glenn, you still here? Any?
Bro, I'm always here.
Hell yeah, dude. I appreciate you. Do you have it, like, was there anything as a perspective of a player who isn't really like playing the game too much? Does this, at least like hands-on, like going to locals and stuff like that at the moment, which I'm not either, but at least does this make you want to play the game at all more?
Oh, absolutely. I'm actually happy to test for Providence going forward now. Not
yeah, I know
it.
you were iffy on Providence or not. Now you're just like, I'm all in.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a very good list overall. I can't complain that much. There's some things they could have cooked a little bit better, but I don't know. It seems fairly fun for a format.
And playing against ryzeal with everything at 3, just it felt like just doing homework, honestly. It's just so boring.
I agree. That was my issue. It was just not a fun format. Like, it wasn't
I didn't mind the
particularly
format.
bad, but
I don't care. It's just ryzeal, bro. I'm sorry, man. Like, I don't know if anybody watching plays ryzeal right now, but like, that deck legitimately puts me to sleep.
and hey, that was the thing with pure cash. I analogize.
Yeah.
It's basically like pure cash back in the day.
Yeah,
Rise
man.
Heart Pass,
That's
right?
my
Like
thing.
every game.
Just so boring, dog. I don't know. Maybe it's just me being like a link summoning combo brain player, but like if I was forced to play one of the two decks, I would definitely pick Malice.
Everyone who plays Malice says it's like one of the most fun decks they've ever played. So
It's because link strategies are the best strategies. They're the most freeform. Let
yeah,
me
I
tell you
never
from
realized
plants.
it
Yeah,
until
it locks you into plants, but you can do whatever you want.
Oh man, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It is so much fun just to degenerately be like, yeah, the world's my oyster right now.
Yeah, let me just
You're
link
gonna-
off these guys. Let me just link and link and link. Hell yeah.
You're gonna watch me play Yu-Gi-Oh! And by play Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean activate Jasmine on field.
What will be the top 3 decks in your opinion? I think it goes like pure right. I think it goes ryzeal variant, still Malice, and then I might have a hot take here. But I think Memento probably is the third best deck now. Like it might just do its OCG thing, where it becomes like perennially the third best deck. I could be wrong, but that's my hot take.
ODM pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah, but like Memento is so disgusting, dude. Like I was watching the finals and like those cards just that fusion monster, the triple foolish. Gaddock solves that card, man. It's so stupid.
That deck was like the greatest flip of all time for me. I bought all that shit in CR so cheap the week before they announced all the support. So easy.
Make Cyber Dragons great again. They get new support in Alliance Insight, so you should look forward to that. I think it's like a Lone Fire Blossom too. It's kind of nice.
Everyone get your Pleiades now.
Listen to Sam, guys. We should learn learn this by now. He's like Nostradamus.
Pleiades is crazy.
Speaking
I don't
of
know how often you'll
Constellars,
make it in Cyber Dragon, but you're gonna play it in your extra deck.
Oh, the Awu deck, the fucking
K9,
the furries. Yeah, those guys.
Dog.
literally.
Yep, dog.
I got that dog in me. That's what that deck is.
What do you guys think of Gamma coming back to the game, but better? I wasn't. That wasn't on my bingo card for Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know if you guys have
Honestly, like
have read the K9 cards in the Chronomaly, whatever, rank 5, but
I mean, you could do the same thing with like the Ripper. It's a hand or graveyard monster effect negate. But like, I get what you're saying.
it's not as
they're
good
Earth
as Gamma,
monsters.
but they aren't bricks.
Izuna and Lupus are both Earth monsters, so is the Chronomaly a light or is it an Earth?
I think it's a light, but I could be wrong.
Well,
These Chronomalies are light. Also, Yu-Gi-Oh! Commander said you had a few people chasing you down to play domain format. That's really cool. Played so much domain, it was insane. I had 2 groups help me down to play. I will try fly to meta if he ever wants to get video going. For sure, for sure. I've just been so busy between the situation at the last apartment and moving, but would love to do a collaboration in the future for sure. OSS is not that banned. I'd beg to disagree, but we'll leave that at that. What to replace a Mermal extra 5 slots?
I have no idea.
You're cooked.
You could do the magic key rank 4 to trigger dragoons when you get the rank 4 setup.
Stop.
And you could search a normal monster so you can reveal it for Joel Beam. I don't know, dude. I have no idea. That deck is cooked. Just link summon. I couldn't tell you.
Well, you
Channel
run
your inner hat
Diva.
format.
I'm
Wait,
sorry,
what?
Chris?
Oh, channel your inner hat format, and you play Dracossack.
You're locked in the waters, dude.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Just fake it anyways. Just draw over the card.
What are they gonna do? Read?
I mean, you're right.
Sonic Rage, this was the list they needed to do. ryzeal and Malice get stronger with the next set. Yeah, I was happy with Konami being able to pre-hit Malice here. Because Malice hasn't topped. Like, Malice hasn't technically warranted these hits, I think.
Yes, it has.
I mean, it's topped, but it hasn't won anything.
Yeah, that deck is insane.
I agree as a Malice hater, Sam, but also, like, I guess I'm trying to be fair.
I'm not a Malice hater. It's just so brazen to introduce a Dark Cybers deck that works with banishing cards.
Allure of Darkness dodges another ban list. Congratulations.
I mean, that's just like that's one of the synergies that dark decks that trigger off of banishing, you know, they benefit from Allure of Darkness. It just happens to be that Malice also is a link strategy. So, you know, since like link strategies are so much more freeform compared to like Thunder Dragon, which really couldn't put out too much link material unless you had degenerate stuff going on like Guard Dragons, or like Branded, which locks itself into fusions. Malice just gets to do infinitely more and still reap all the benefits of cards like Allure of Darkness. And because they're Cybers type, they get to play within all the Cybers locks, and they're basically just the best Cybers slop starters available in the game, because they're the only ones that have an actual deck and win condition behind them.
What? Okay, so like, okay, I'm gonna read a few more chats, but like, did I ask your opinion on Circular? I asked you about Kyle's opinion on Circular, but I feel like you have and Glenn, you might be more familiar with Circular than I am, because you started playing Yu-Gi-Oh again.
Play Circular and ryzeal. It's a free Joe Drive.
It's a free.
Oh, never mind. It locks you into Cybers.
You just play in Malice, the other deck.
Yeah. I mean, you could, but like, with the consistency hits to Malice, like, if you open Signet Mining and you search Circular, you probably are already winning, because that means you opened a Malice name plus Signet Mining. So, like, yeah, Circular's excellent, but I don't know.
So, like, White Forest Fiendsmith is actually super solid now post BANLIST, and they're getting support that makes that deck even better.
Just have your Ally of Justice cycle readers at the ready. They'll be fine.
That's actually something this one branded deck that got second at the DC Cup mained at one point, or maybe they got first. I forgot it was first or second. I think it was second. They mained an Ally of Justice, and then they had a Sprind in the extra deck for the High Spirits Bridge. It was beautiful.
That's hilarious.
I mean, Sprind is general use anyway, but still. Hat format remains eternal. I can't wait until Xyz Universe. Dude, I thought if Xyz Universe wasn't useful in fucking in ryzeal format, when will it ever be again? I'm so sad. For all my hat heads.
Target 2 face-up Xyz monsters on the field. Send both monsters to the graveyard. Then special summon one Xyz monster from your extra deck, except a number monster, whose rank is equal to, or less than, the combined original rank of those two monsters, and if you do, attach this card to it as material. Also, for the rest of this turn, after this effect resolves, your opponent takes no damage.
You would side that in against Girgia and hat format and make Falgrand and have a fun time.
I like where you're coming from.
See, we can still do that though. Like transaction rollback, anyone? Labyrinth cards? Hello?
Hell yeah. Lab mentioned.
Yeah, Glenn, how do you feel while I go use the bathroom quickly? Uh how do you feel about Labyrinth topping the YCS? I'm pretty sure they were first after Swiss day 1 and then they won the giant card for doing that.
That's pretty tight. I obviously haven't been playing a ton this format, but good for them, man, because it's not easy, especially against Malice. Fuck that deck. That matchup is not fun.
What makes it not fun?
Um, it's they just get a lot more advantage off of so little, and you need 2-card combos when you're playing IKEA, and then if you're not playing IKEA, and you're playing the trap heavy builds, the math build, it's really hard to hit Malice with an equation cannon. So that's just shot.
Yeah, that's just link strategies though. But I get that.
That's pretty much it, though. I don't know. Other than that, I mean, the deck, as long as it has a good pilot, the deck can always just win.
Yep.
I do have games like that.
There's always one moment in the game that determines whether the lab player wins or loses, and it's all on the opponent. Like, if you misplay here, I win, no matter what.
Yeah. You just have to understand the opponent's deck so much when you're playing lab, too.
Yeah.
Which is such a pain in the ass. Like,
There's so many different variants.
yeah. There's so many variants to lab itself, but there's so many pain points and choke points that you need to actually understand in order to be a competent player in any format, right? Because, like, yeah, I have disruption, and everyone thinks purple card unga bunga, but you have to understand where it's going to hurt the most.
Yep.
Like, you have to know the lines to play optimally.
It's all about maximizing your interruptions.
True.
How to play Mermal after the ban list. You do the... I shouldn't be saying this. I genuinely am ruining the format by saying this on a stream with like 100+ people on it, but I already mentioned it. Like, it's gonna be water barrier statue, and it's like you can go anywhere. Like, that's just gonna be what happens. It happened in the... That's what the OCG does with Mermal. It still does fine over there. You're just gonna do like whatever the deep sea synchro plays to summon it out or whatever, and then you end on the link, and you have the trap, so you still have interruption plus hand traps. Puts your opponent on better have droplet, essentially.
I love a bet. They better have it.
That's why Ido is so good with Sanctifier, but that's a whole nother story. Branded's going to be great after this ban list. It's going to feel so good to resolve a branded fusion. Good night, gamers. Peace out, Romy. I appreciate you coming through. Allure is technically a branded card, too. Yeah, I'm glad it didn't get hit. 3 Babuska. That's the new ryzeal game plan. You just run 3 Babuska.
We're going to make one rank forward turn. It's going to be this.
You just play super passive. You just like keep crossing them.
You can't end on only Baguska. If you watch the finals, they'll just have droplet.
Yeah, that Memento player was crazy good. Like,
it was insane, bro. Like, bro literally went like, okay, Memento Infusion, and I was like yelling, like, there's no way that's the card in your hand. It was wild.
EPA, I think Brand is technically now kind of meta threat now. I played in my first regionals. I got 69th out of 268 people. The only reason I lost a lot was because those cards that are now banned. I won against 2 Pure ryzeal and 1 Mitsu ryzeal before the hit and only lost to Fiendsmith ryzeal because of Dweller. Brand is so good at this format. Good matchup with ryzeal. Good matchup with now weaker Malice deck and Blue Eyes. Who? We are so back. I agree.
Branded is so back in the die roll.
When I play.
I'll forever be the guy. I'll just be the guy.
Odeon Fiends. Oh well, okay. Well, okay. I'm still not gonna enjoy going again into an Argonaut, like Toad or not. Like I don't think Toad was ever the thing stopping me. But also I think the Odeon Fiendsmith deck is an issue for Branded. Like going second, like I'm still figuring out how to go against that deck going second without just like non-engine like evenly. I'm pretty sure they can negate evenly, right? Or am I wrong? Yeah, they can. They have the Omni negate.
Yeah, they could just Apophis.
Yeah, or yeah, not the Omni negate. It's a Spotter Trap negate.
It's like a Desiree. It negates cards on the field.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's good.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But also, I mean, some of them do play. There was a couple of people playing Judgment as well. So like that card's fucking nuts. Like it's a 3 of. Just straight up in the main. In a more like trap heavy build, not so hand trappy.
Solemn Judgment?
Yeah.
Yeah, that card's busted.
I mean, they're already playing Heavenly as well, so it's searchable.
Yep.
Because Heavenly searches any trap.
Wonderful card design.
Is
Top tier.
Mermail dead? Definitely not. I don't know if it's gonna be winning YCSs anymore.
You still have your 1-card combo, you just don't have Toad.
Ivan's not happy about it. I know that much.
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure
You
he
also
will
miss
be
out
very
on
sad.
the you still get the Moulin Glacia hand rip. It's just you need Anemone to resolve with the 1-card combo.
Okay. Really?
What's the game? What's the end board game plan though? Like, is it really just hand rip or bust now?
Well,
hand rip plus slap bigger statue, obviously.
Yeah.
With the 1-card Neptibus combo, when you get to the point where you're able to make Bahamut into Toad, you have Neptibus, Shadow Squad, and Abyss Shrine in your graveyard. Oh no, yeah, you just link off into Anemone and then summon the Moulin Glacia to hand rip him for 2.
We love hand rips.
And that's summon 5. So you could just link into Abyssalacia in case they do nib you. That way, if you have extenders, you can make Anemone and keep playing. But
Lacia is going to be so integral to that end board now, as if it wasn't already.
Yeah, like she's so crazy in that deck. Such a dumb card.
Yeah, you still have that rank 7 too. Like that card's insane extension. You're just gonna end up running the other synchros, and then also like you still have Coelacanth, right? Like you still have very explosive plays.
Yeah.
Dweller and Shifter are gone now too. Like
but like the Omni negate off Toad is what made that deck like so scary.
It was the grind game, effectively, I think.
Yeah, adding water monsters back from your graveyard to your hand, it's insane.
No vanity, holy Link Decoder Band is the craziest Malice hit you can imagine. That alone would have the deck in power. No vanity topped the German Open with Malice. I remember when I think like Malice like first came out. So I'm gonna take. That's good news to me. I don't know. We'll end up seeing. I feel like I've heard some people say Link Decoder Ban is not as crazy, but I do think it just makes it so much more interactable. Like,
yep,
yeah,
it really does make Malice a lot more fair. Like the thing that was really messed up about Link Decoder is that it would chain block Red Ransom, or it would chain block like I don't know if chain blocking White Binder is particularly relevant, but you know. chain blocking Red Ransom is usually the part that's like so messed up because you can't Ash Blossom it, and like Ash Blossom already is so not good against Malice. So like, I think Ash gets a decent bit better, especially because they're playing Signet Mining due to the consistency hits. So like, ashing Signet Mining can just randomly end their turn.
Yeah, do you really think it hits the deck that hard? No Vanity? I mean, I think with the Adignister stuff, it will end up being a bit more like, you know, your deck will be kind of fine after that, but we'll see. Chat, what will be top 3 decks now? I mean, ryzeal, Malice. The dynamics don't the dynamics on their face don't really shift this with this ban list. However, like I think the quality of life and like the player experience gets like far better with this ban list.
I still
Like
think Lancia not being hit is kind of a big blemish on this list.
Sorry, you said Lancia not being hit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think Lancia should have went with nothing else, or do you think like something else should have happened with that?
Oh, I think Lancia should have went to 2 or 1, TBH.
To 1?
Yeah, 2 or 1, I said. Yeah. Just consistency hit on that shit.
Yeah, that card kind of is insane against Malice right now.
And like it also randomly keeps some other decks out of the format too, like Ritual Beasts. Like random,
Yeah.
you know, tier 2, tier 3 decks. Just I know that happens like every deck, and they definitely address like, you know, letting graveyard decks do more, but not the banished.
Yeah, I mean that is kind of the list. Mohammed, I got QCR Engraver pre-traded. Nah, Fusion Summon is peak. Yes, sir. Yeah, so ryzeal dead or not? ryzeal's definitely not dead. It's gonna be probably the best deck still, but we'll see. Malice might be a little bit better right now. I think it'll be a tie between them. Yeah, so I think there's gonna be a lot of cooking to be done. I'll have a lot of new videos coming out. I do have I have to upload the deck profile for the 41st place branded list. I was just sent over, so I'll probably upload that tonight. Once I get a little rust, because I know people want to see that. He went X11, like very good record, topping record, but it was a top 32 YCS, so bubbled out. And yeah, no, I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. I saw Josh Schmidt say it was a 10 out of 10 ban list. You know, I think there's a lot to like about this list, a lot to be excited about. I'm looking forward to testing and going to locals, playing with my cards, playing ryzeal and branded. I think ryzeal gets more interesting. The deck building does, at least, especially post Allen, at least with potential new Mitsu support. So we'll see. I might just be playing like, I think the Mitsurugi stuff is gonna be really great with like no shifter and no dweller. So
I think you should just play Mitsu pure. Honestly, it has enough cards.
yeah, if those cards are insane, if the new stuff is insane.
Dude, yo, play TikTok deck, play Audatic.
All I'm saying is, with that new ritual monster, Nadir Servant is full combo, like, and more.
Scott Hubs, Fiendsmith will be the best deck now, lol. I mean, what do you mean Fiendsmith? Do you mean the best engine? I think you mean the best engine, which I'd agree with. I also think the Odeon engine's very underrated right now, but I think those two things go hand in hand as well. Corey, banlist wasn't bad. I just unpacked my cards right now, so I'm looking forward to your deck list. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're going to get that one out tonight and then hopefully get a branded list out by tomorrow. That's my own. But I also might just like talk about the ban list tomorrow, then get a list out in a few days once I've done some testing instead of just like rushing one out, because like we do have Oscars, obviously, look forward to. I do want to appreciate everybody who came onto the stream. I was thinking about doing some testing with Branded, but I've been streaming now for 7.5 hours, so I think it would be good to get a little relaxation and then process the ban list and make some videos potentially for tomorrow and next few days. Cut up some shorts from this stream because we had a lot of great conversations with all the homies. I'm gonna link out to Sam's channel, Sam's Yu-Gi-Oh YouTube channel. I do appreciate Sam for coming on as well, and I do appreciate Glenn for coming on. It's always a pleasure, and I'm really glad I got to get your guys' opinion on it. And yeah, no, I'm just looking forward to playing. Sam, if you want to link your channel, I just can't find it yours right now, unfortunately. But
you.
yeah.
Fellow water duelists, Bahamut ban is fine. Yeah, it's annoying when they have like Nibiru or whatever, but I mean, it was always annoying when they had Nibiru regardless. So play past it, I guess. I don't know.
Salad lives with that reality just fine.
They play past Nib all the time. With Salam and Great Weasel.
I remember when they had a Barone line with that card. Pepperidge Farms remembers.
Yeah. Fun times.
I play Master Duel, Sam. And I'm sure you do too. So you get to live that reality again, like a second life.
I don't play Master Duel anymore, bro.
It's so it's certainly
when
something.
Archangel
right
came
now.
out in the TCG, like I'm not playing Master Duel anymore, dog. That's a joke, man. I'm really gonna get Max Seed and Foolos. I pass, and then they're like Lamau normal summon Sylvie, and I have to watch a movie. Like really? I'm not playing that.
I just want to say White Forest, and I've made this comparison like 20 times, like an insane asylum patient, but like there is a night and day difference between White Forest and the TCG and Master Duel because of Baron and Apo. Like those cards make that deck like go so overboard. And the Fiendsmith stuff does on some level too, like Desiree doesn't help. But like those two cards in particular make it so you cannot play through their end boards with Engine, where in the TCG you potentially can, especially if you have like one board breaker.
I can't wait to see what Malice looks like with Apollosa on Master Duel. It's gonna be awful.
Yes.
Yeah. It's gonna be terrible.
Because you know they are banning that. You know they are
might.
banning. You think so?
They might. I mean, when a Boaku comes out, I mean, a Boaku shores up a lot of problems that decks had when Apollosa got banned. Like, PK, I mean, you're going to play a Boaku and you don't need to worry about Apollosa. Because a Boaku's really good in PK because she can bring back a Dark Xyz to the zone that Rusty points to for a free pop. So it's like you get both effects of a Boaku, basically.
That card is waiting in wait to be abused in some way. I mean, as if it literally just wasn't being abused.
Yeah,
with
like
Griffin.
you know that people are just gonna bring out the most hilarious fun cards, right? Like me
Like
when I area
Diabells.
leader and I send the end of Anubis or Invader of Darkness, and then I reborn it with a Boaku against Runic and Graveyard decks respectively, and they just lose. I get to build my own Dweller.
You can never Dweller a tier player again, Sam. We're gonna have to play old like tier format just to help you relive the old memories of double Dweller.
You could just you could just flip the old soul drain on him. That'll teach him.
People were citing that recently. If you weren't familiar, I think for like just ryzeal.
No, it stops monsters in the graveyard or banishment, so it's for malice most likely.
Got it. You're right on that. Malice will be the reason Appaloosa gets banned in MD. Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't
It would be
trust
funny,
them.
but at the same time, like Appaloosa is just such a joke of a Yu-Gi-Oh card, man. I can't believe how long that card was legal for.
Don't you love baiting 3 to 4 negates before you can even play the game, Sam?
I mean, I loved when I played with Appaloosa, but that's because I was the one controlling it. Decidedly and tactically spamming Appaloosa's effect until my opponent conceded. Skillfully weaving and bobbing through everything they did by just being like chain. Like, it's skillful gameplay, right?
You don't like the Baron Appo Savage Simulator?
If I wanted to light cards in my hand on fire, I would play Hearthstone.
Is that how Hearthstone is? It's just like going against like a white forest end board every time?
No, I'm saying like there are cards in the game that can light your opponent's cards in their hand on fire.
Oh, literally. So, nice.
Yeah, because it's an online game, so you do whatever you want. Yeah, like if I really don't like just having to play against boards that invalidate the cards in your hand no matter what they are. Like that's specifically Omni negates. And I mean that's partially why they banned Bahamut Shark, because it's just another Omni negate that's only gonna get more generic over time with more water decks that come out. But like it's not fun. I really hate when my opponent summons those cards on Master Duel, because it's like, why am I not just playing something like, why am I not just playing White Forest Snake Eyes or like White Forest Izamina? But I don't want to play that. I want to play Marincess.
Well, that's the beauty of Yu-Gi-Oh, the diversity, and that's why it's just like so silly that Master Duel is just like so like impeded by like there's like no card design or deck building in that game because of like Appo and Baron. Like every good deck that can ever like make produce bodies just like simulate into making those cards plus like a couple cards.
And that's on the extreme of like I can actually put bodies on the board. If you're playing something low to the ground, you're just making Verte into Dragoon, and that's just another example of there's no deck building. Like, brother, SP is better. Are you kidding me? Like, there's no way.
72 or 77% of people, we have 700 votes on the poll. 70. That's actually a pretty good sample size. That's like a politician poll like sample size. Is this ban list good or not? Yes, 77%. No, 23%. So yeah, I think like overwhelmingly people think this ban list is pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like the people that are saying no are just like, I really wish that the Malice names would have just been limited. Same with the ryzeal names, because the semi-limited list is kind of stupid. They're probably just like, it's like not enough.
Semi-limits do just feel silly to me, but
yeah,
I think they're trying to push the boundaries with consistency hits, maybe with the semi-limits, but I think it's just not going to be enough when in like a 4 to 5 month ban list window. Magic Geek, I forgot to bring up when I was on, but with Dweller Gun, how do we feel about Dark World and Tier possibly coming up? I mean, I mentioned before, way earlier, when it first dropped, I think Tier is going to be incredible post-ban list with Fiendsmith. Still full power, and then, like, Dweller and Shifter God, like, Tier is back, baby. Best
Dark
Fiendsmith
World
variant.
is also worth mentioning with the danger on limits.
Oh, that's good.
You seem upset from this.
I don't like Tier, even though I'm a former Tier player. It doesn't feel good. I just hate the shufflers. Can they ban the shufflers and then I'll like playing against Tier? Like literally. I play Brandon and the shufflers like violate me.
I feel that.
think Droll is gonna be main deck mandatory meta, says Gabe. Probably. I mean, if it wasn't already. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Like.
All right. Check out Sam's channel. Check out everyone else who came on. Shout out to Gelzo. Shout out to everyone else who came through. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, new format. We're back to TCG content on the channel. We'll still be playing Master Duel on the streams, but I also I've been having zero fun with Master Duel, so I think this is gonna give me a good excuse to do some TCG streams. Yeah. So I'm gonna go off, go relax. I'll be seeing everybody on the stream later. Have a good rest of your day. Subscribe, click the like button, join the channel if you want to help support. Also, we're going to be giving away Ultimate Rare Fallen of Albaz, as I just have a headache. We'll be giving that away. I'll post the winner later. I'll post a video of me doing the spin, probably tomorrow. So anyone who's a channel member will get in on that, or a Twitch sub. Appreciate everybody who provided Twitch subs and channel members and super chats. Very, very kind of you guys. Super do appreciate that. That was actually insane. I wasn't expecting anything, so as per usual, but you guys are extraordinarily supportive, so thank you all for making it a pleasure. We hit like 500 peak viewers on the stream today. It's pretty good. That was pretty insane. I told you guys, BANLIST day is always an absolute party here. I appreciate Sam has like the 4-time ring, man. Sam, you've been on like every BANLIST, maybe, or no, you weren't on last BANLIST stream, so you made sure to come on this one. I think you were.
Yeah, sorry about that, big dog.
You're fine. I just love your analysis. Like, one of the best in the game by far.
Link Spider next list.
You heard it here first, folks. Place your bets now. I'm with Sam.
Or Herald. Maybe they ban Herald. Stop all that Mitsu nonsense with Nadir Servant. That's going to be happening soon.
Also, it's a hit to Yummy.
Yep,
that kills
exactly.
Yummy.
So that way they don't have to ban Link Spider, but they still might anyways because that card's dumb. Because, they're trying to make Adagnister, they gave Circular back as hey, the Adagnister cards are coming out soon, so maybe that deck, it's like the closest thing to Cyber Slot besides Malice. Maybe they'll play Circular. And it's yeah. But
my cash jack is cooked. Brother, you only lost Shifter. You'll be okay.
You and the Regenesis cards are coming out soon.
Yeah. Those cards are broken, actually. I see that being thrown into everything.
Yeah, those cards are nuts. They'll probably help out the Dark Magician structure decks. That'll be coming out too.
Do you think that's going to be any good? It has to be, right?
No, it doesn't have to be, but it should be, because there's no way that you can just print cards like Magician Souls and then just have no follow-up. There's no way. Right?
Right?
You have to be able to either design around that or at least design around Magician's Rod. I don't know.
Yeah, we do love problems lying in wait for card design. Buy out your Uka's guys. Regenesis can use Uka, says the EPA. Okay, thank you.
True.
All right, guys. Have a good night. The VOD will be up for anybody who wants to check out the reaction. I'll probably upload a edited version of it on the second channel. It was 4 hours of analysis though, so I don't know. I'm gonna have. It's always a funny thing to do. But yeah, subscribe to the second channel. Subscribe on YouTube also if you haven't already. We're on the road to 20K subscribers. at 10,000 right now. And look forward to the 41st place branded deck profile soon on the channel. All right, guys, have a